Which one?
So basically, the 12th one doesn't really fix the problem, so I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, we'll call the special committee of the whole budget discussions meeting to order at 9 p.m. on January 19th.
It's
9
a.m.
It's been a long night.
Oh, no.
Leave me alone.
Good morning. Please note, special committee of the whole budget discussion meetings are streamed live and recorded on YouTube. Attendees acknowledge that in accordance with section 20 sub 2 of the Access to Information Act and section 4 sub C of the Protection of Privacy Act, names, addresses, and other details provided when speaking at a council meeting will be publicly shared. Should you have any questions related to the collection or disclosure of personal information, please contact the Legislative and Advisory Services Division for the Town of High River by sending an email to atip@highriver.ca. That is ATIPP@highriver.ca.
Let's do it. Adoption of today's agenda. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Barton. The council adopt the agenda for the special committee of the whole budget discussions meeting January 19th as presented.
You got my motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. All yours, Jordan, Michelle, Chris. Have fun.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to share my screen now.
You're going to attempt to.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen.
Your screen is shared.
Oh, Jody might have to pull that down.
No, they would have to change.
Hang on, maybe I'm on the wrong screen. You never know.
Teams?
There we are.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Welcome to day 3 of deliberations. I hope everyone had a good weekend. And we're just going to get right going into the projects discussions, which is a lot of the meat of the budget, really. But we'll start the agenda as a few opening remarks. We'll recap a little bit of day 2, not much. We're going to start by reviewing special funding requests. There's 3 of them. And then I'm going to go on to a very quick review of every project that we have. I'm going to spend probably about 5 seconds on each one, just for the benefit of the public and those who aren't as familiar with the project listing. I'll make sure that we cover every one, but I'll be very brief so it doesn't drag on too long. And then after that, we can get into select projects you'd like to talk about. My goal is to have a yes/no answer for every single project that we have listed here so that we can take that information back, rebuild the capital budget, and then present it on Wednesday. So that's kind of my hope for the end of this session. Yeah, so I'll get into a quick recap for day 2. So we went over our operating budget in more of a high level. We got into a little bit of details. There was no major concerns. We're just moving on to projects today. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up, Chris, or anyone else, before we move on to special funding requests? Okay, perfect. All right, so I was debating on how to actually present these to you. I think the best way would be I'll give you like a 5 to 10 second introduction or summary of what the funding requests are. We have budget briefing notes for each one that we can call up on the screen to discuss in more detail if you'd like, just to facilitate the discussions if that works. All right. I will start with the first special request, which is library funding. It's for 2026 updated cost of $69,673. It's for operating funding support for library services delivered to High River residents. The next one is handy bus additional funding for a 2026 cost of $25,000. It's additional operating funding to support the handy bus service, which provides accessible transportation for seniors and residents with disabilities in High River and the region. And the third funding request is gift of music funding request, $7,000 annually, thereabouts. Request for fee-for-service funding to support free and accessible community music programming and performance.
Jordan, if I can just interject, back to the library one, there's actually a second request, because there's one for the fee-for-service increase for 63.5, and then their budget request that was circulated on Friday for 69,673, that's in addition to that fee-for-service request.
Right.
Thank you. All right, I think I'll open the floor up to mayor or council to discuss this.
Talk more about this request of library funding and what it's for and what the rationale and reasoning is for it, please.
Certainly, so this one that we received on Friday from the library board is in essence an increased staffing complement to increase their staffing to cover the shift, and Ruth Ann's here to speak to it as well.
Okay.
To shift some responsibilities away from the library director into more supportive roles, and to pick up some loss of other staff from that perspective. Ruth Ann, if you want to add?
Okay, I'm gonna read this because everybody knows how I get tongue twisted when I try to talk. So, while I would be grateful if both of our funding requests are provided to us, I'm not here to advocate for either. I just want to clarify what each one does for the library. The business case that was presented is about long-term direction, confirming community needs and aligning programming and service levels, including ongoing intent around free library cards for residents. That was in the business case that you got. The operating fund increase addresses the current budget pressure and supports day-to-day capacity. It would also allow for an additional role focused on coordination programs which help implement priorities, can't even talk when I read, priorities that come out of the business case, and it allows the library director to stay focused on the overall operations. Did I make it clear or have any questions?
So is it another hire that you want to do, or is it just shifting responsibility in the?
We don't have anyone that can do any other responsibilities, so it is another hire.
Okay.
For the operating one.
Yes.
I can just add from what I've seen at the library board, the current library director has pushed past her limit in terms of ability to do what's needed to be done to keep the library functioning. And she's kind of at beyond the end of her rope. So they do need that help.
And while I know it's difficult to compare, when you look at the comparison and the makeup of staffing at other similar libraries, I won't say exactly the same libraries, but similar libraries servicing close to the same amount of people, none of them are operating with just one full-time staff at this level. They all have at least two, and many have three. So we've operated a long time with a very stressed executive director doing the best she can, and who has, I must say, done phenomenally well.
Can you talk about the second part you got then too?
Yeah.
That's another 70?
Well, for 2026, it's for 63.5, and then it drops based upon two one-time requests at the part of the business case. One is to do a needs assessment for the community, understand what the community desires from the library perspective. The other one is building a public education program and outreach to educate the public that the library is more than just borrowing books, that they do other things as well, from programming to loaning tools to other aspects of things that they provide to the community. So that's the two-part aspect. That would be in addition to the fee-for-service that we already provide, about $429,000, and it would drop in years 2, 3, and 4 remaining to about $35,000 after that.
So if we agree upon, we're agreeing upon years of giving them this money.
The fee for service. Now, at the end of the day, this operational increase is not a one-time increase, right? Like, I think that needs to be clear that if the operational increase is at $70,000 as requested here, that's an ongoing increase as well.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, it's whether we, you know, and there's flexibility within the fee for service to kind of address this too, to have a little bit more flexibility. Maybe some of those business case items do come out, and it is an ask for 63.5 for those 4 years. And leave that flexibility to reestablish programming and provide support to the executive director is maybe the language that we can put into the fee for service as an amendment.
You know, the town does not only just give $430,000, they also supply the space, they maintain the space, they pay for the Marigold library service, right? There's a lot that the town does put in that possibly some other libraries might have to buy or pay for or rent their own space and entertainment.
Yeah, I haven't done a detailed comparison of all other libraries, or what they provide from municipality to municipality. It is different, right? It's like comparing apples and oranges when you do compare libraries. It's hard to really gauge that. I think for the most part, we do provide, service to maintain the building. They are, they lease it for free. There's no lease charge associated to them. They do have to pay their own utilities. And so that's a function of that operation. We do, later on, there is a capital request for improvements to the front entrance as well. That, that's a conversation we'll have later on. So at the end of the day, like the cost pressures we're seeing as well when it comes to, from a staff cost perspective and the utility cost perspective, they're seeing those same types of pressures to an extent too, right? So those types of things are something that the fee-for-service didn't envision, an 8.1% inflationary cost in 2024, right? So, and so those types of things we need to kind of bear in mind.
The other thing we have to realize is that you're not going to attract families if you don't have a library. End of story. You've got to have a functioning, available library if you're going to attract any families. It's very important to the culture of the community. And if we're stressing our director, which we are, beyond the levels that she can accommodate, we're running the risk of not being able to provide a functioning library.
I'm good with both. That's my thought.
Well,
Here's my question. What's the vision for, because part of this funding request is for assessment of what the community needs. And I'm assuming from that it's, well, where is the library going to go with what they're doing for what they're providing for the community? I could have a very wrong understanding, but I don't think we have a cost recovery from fees to the costs that are incurred to impart, right? So if we're going to do a study on what the community needs, and we're going to have 100 people say they want 100 other different things, and then we're going to try to accommodate those 100 other different things, that in turn is going to create costs and going to create more ask for more money. I'm not saying that's wrong or bad, and to Vicky's point, libraries are an integral part of the community. We have one that's here that's functioning. We have to talk about what the capacity of that is. And I'm not sure I know Mary's vision of where she, well, I kind of have maybe an idea of where she'd like to take it. But to consider funding going forward, that's part of what I would like to understand where it's going, because every facet of what we do has ever increasing costs.
yeah.
And the other side of that is we have a tax base that, a ratepayer base, including all of us here that live in High River, that pay into providing those services. And myself included, I'm not the biggest fan of having tax increases. It's a necessary evil. Willing to pay my fair share, but for some people that gets very, very hard when we bring in an increase. So to me, that it's much bigger than just these couple asks. It's kind of, where is this going and how's it going? And what does it mean going down the road? I can't just look at this in isolation unto itself. Sorry, I'm not trying to open up a can of worms, but, you
Can
know.
I speak to some of that, Mike?
Yeah, that would be great, thank you very much.
So it's not, and the reason we are looking for the money to go out and have a professional consultant look at the needs, it therefore removes it from being Mary's vision. Okay, they can look at it abstractly from afar and determine what they are. The board has tried in many cases to look at the community and find out what they wanted. That was unsuccessful. We recognize that we don't have the capability or the qualifications to conduct that type of study. So going forward, it doesn't mean that there's a continued cost. There may be a pullback depending on what this consultant finds for us. And that's the purpose of it, and that was the intent. To get a qualified answer about what the library can do for the community, what the community wants from the library, and in some cases, maybe what the library is doing that we don't have to do because the community doesn't need it. So the importance of having this as a one-time cost for the consultant side of it made it key and reasonable for us to ask, for us to look at it wholeheartedly and say, this is what we need to do, we don't need to do this anymore. This is what the public wants, and how do we deliver it? And that doesn't necessarily mean us coming back every time to council for more. What I had proposed in this was us coming back to justify what it was, where your money went, and how we spent it, and how we are recovering it. So that's the point, and I think a lot of times the library does just look at the director sitting there and making choices and determining what's coming in the future, what programs are coming, and what it's going to cost. Again, that was why we were looking externally to give us a professional view of what that is. And if you'll note, if you saw the proposal, they're also looking at the fee-for-service and how it's structured. My key message, at least on the board, was that we shouldn't ask for money that we can't justify how we used it. And I think that's something we haven't done before or in a while, is to come back to council and say, you gave us this money, here's the results of giving us this money, and what the benefits were, and how we spent that money. Does that make it any clearer?
Yeah, the biggest thing I took out of that is that if the study goes forward and you pull information from that, that might mean an addition or a change in services, or it might mean a retraction. That's important, you know. So when I say Mary's vision, she's, you know, she leads that. I'm not putting it entirely on her shoulders that she's an autocrat. That wasn't the intent. It was you know, she guides what happens there. So hearing that, you know, from the board and through management, that there could be a decision to pull things back if necessary, that's a positive for me, I guess, if I can frame it that way, because that's a critical lens on what's needed, what's wanted, and what is affordable.
And it's more clarity on how we spend the money that we have.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
So is that,
Can I just make a comment? I live within 2 houses of the library, and I see all ages, from toddlers to seniors, access it every day that it's open.
oh yeah, I see, I mean, there's definitely value in the library, for sure. Is that something, I know that a lot of conversation has always been that the town does operational expenses, and the library has a very large amount of reserve money. Is that something that the library could use that reserve money for, that's not necessarily operational, that benefits the board?
And I think in many times we've tried to explain that that's not what reserves are for. We've been very judicial in using the reserve interest coming out of it and where we put the money so that we get a larger interest from it. And that's what the library does. Every time we would take the opportunity, if you want to call it, to go back to the reserves and draw down for it for something specific, it again reduces the amount of interest we have to use for deficits coming forward.
But there's always, you have reserves for a reason,
And some of them
what
are
is that
qualified
reason?
reserves.
Exactly.
And I think I've provided that before, and I can provide it again, as to how those reserves are structured. And they were never, and I can't think of any reserve that I have looked at that has been used for operating costs.
Well, exactly, that's what I just said. This necessarily wouldn't be an operating cost. This is something that the board needs to determine how you go forward. is a valid reason to use that money.
Well, the community needs to know, it's not just the board. The community needs to have input into how the library moves forward, develops, provides a service.
Yeah.
It's a community need, it's not a board need.
Well, the board runs the
They do.
library, so it is definitely a board thing.
No, it's not a board need. They could happily carry on as a board and just to heck with what the community wants or needs.
I agree.
This service assessment is to allow the community to have a voice and to contribute to how the library develops. As Michael says, what the vision is. They're gonna create, the
I'm not
community's
disagreeing with you,
gonna
I think
create
it's
the
a
vision.
very important thing to have, to understand the needs. And I know that the library has tried in many different ways to get the community's input, for sure. I don't disagree with that. I do personally have some issues in coming forward and asking for, an extra $130,000 when there are, I think the library itself needs to put in some value instead of just
So what
always
value are you
always
expecting the
coming.
library to put in?
Well, the value, I mean, if this is a value, the survey is a value to the board and to the library
And to the community.
and to the community, absolutely. Why?
So that's 17,000, is that what you're suggesting? Is that what the 17,000?
That was for the consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Why could that not be something that the board uses some reserves for? So it's not an
If
operational
it-
cost.
If it needs to be, the information we feel is valuable enough, that we will go however we need to go to get the funding. We're coming to the town because we believe that the town has a vested interest in how the operator runs.
Yeah.
And that's what we're asking for, support from the town with respect to that.
So Ruth, Ann, this consultant, it's gonna be a town-wide survey. What are the needs, what do people want out of the library? Do you use it, don't you use it? If you use it, what do you use? That kind of thing. And what else do you want out of the library?
And if you don't use it, what would encourage you to use it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
And the proposals are now in, we're just waiting to evaluate them today, I believe, this week.
I'm still- I think it's important. I think and I get what you're saying, Jenny, trust me, I absolutely do. For their 17,000, I think there's enough benefit there for what they're going to do with that information, but kind of formulates a lot of questions that we've had for years and years and years and years, and having it external is huge, because then there's not this bias back and forth, who did it, who's saying it, oh, you said it just because you want more money, blah, blah, blah. If it's external to the board, external to Mary, we do it all the time.
So then how much are we agreeing to, from this point forward, every year, adding to this $429,000?
So if the 69,673 for the operating budget increase is supported, and then after 2026, it would drop down, the fee for service would drop down to 36,312. So it'd be about $100,000 that you'd be contributing additionally to operating expenses
Every year going forward?
every year going forward.
Plus,
At the end of the day, remind council in 2027, the funding formula gets revisited based upon updated census numbers and updated inflationary numbers as well.
You said something earlier. Mary is the only full-time employee at the library. Is that correct?
yes. Yeah. There,
My family uses that, like Lindsay and the kids use that library a lot. And it is a busy, busy place. I'm quite surprised to hear that there's only one full-time person. I know a couple of the others that work there, but
Great.
I get it. Go ahead, sorry, Kathy.
No, that's fine. I mean, the conversation with the library has been ongoing with their challenges for years. And I think going back to our conversation the other day, I think it's kind of a thing that we've gotten behind. And that's where we're at. I know, you know, God forbid we lose Mary, because I was on the hiring committee when we hired Mary, and that was not an easy task. And we are limited by, again, someone else's bylaws or procedures on who that person can be and what those qualifications, which is significant and which comes with a wage. And so, we don't wanna be burning Mary out or having you looking elsewhere where they have some staff to complement her. So I think, in my mind, this is a catch-up that's probably long overdue.
Jimmy?
I don't necessarily have any problems with the library's ask. What I have said for the last 4 years is I think it's really important that we actually have all of our partners that we actually give money to for fee for service, that actually give us a report back, and not just a report on a piece of paper, an opportunity to sit and talk with the members. And here's the reason why I'm gonna say this, is because other than the board that I'm involved in that has fee for service, I have no clue who are on the other boards, like the library board. Never in the last 4.5 years have you guys come to present anything to us, right?
And that's what I'm trying to change.
And, yeah, but I think there's that, and you brought something up, there's this, we gotta slice the tension between all our fee-for-service groups, because there always is tension, but having, you know, there's always a pushback here and there. And it's not like stuff you can necessarily slice, but we just gotta slice the tension that is there so that it doesn't get bigger. Because I have witnessed in this room for the last 4 years this tension around the library, for example, is probably out of all of the groups, that's probably the most tension, and I just want to kind of quash that. I don't know why we need to have tension about it. I think it'd be, we're in a partnership together, and we need to act like partners. That's just my 2 cents. I agree with the funding. I think we need to be more open and transparent about it, so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ruth-Ann, but doesn't the budget proposal that you've made include free library cards?
For the business case,
The business case, yeah.
Not this.
No, but the
it's
business,
not in the operating budget, it's in,
but it
in the
includes
business case.
free library cards for people who live in High River. And that's a benefit to the community. They'd either pay it through a library card or pay it through tax, I guess, but they're getting a benefit there.
It
And
was-
that increases usage, isn't that our record?
There was that a
Yes,
couple
it
of
is.
years ago, and it doubled the amount of people who came through the library.
And they saw a reduction, a corresponding reduction as soon as the free library cards left too. As
Yeah.
soon as the fee came back, it saw.
And we have those numbers to back it up, and I don't think there's anything that the board would be against in presenting to council. I've been on the board, I've just become treasurer in the last year. I will admit that I don't think maybe the board understood or recognized the value in presenting to council and having them understand what was there. My background tells me that it's important, that we need to be transparent and share with our stakeholders what it is we're doing, how we're doing it, and how well it's being received.
Appreciate that.
Ruth-Ann, how many members currently, do you have that number off the top of your head currently?
I don't, I can
That was
remember,
around
barely
five.
remember my phone number, Chris,
Five, I
sorry.
think it was around
It
5,000.
was about 5.
5,000 current members on the library. That also includes Foothills County because they pay into a fee for service under the shared services. So, you know, the total population service area is about 35,000.
And I think that the more open we are and transparent, and we have a consultant that tells us how to be that way, I think it will attract more. My only concern is that it starts to overburden an already stressed staff that we have.
And since I've been here in 2019 to now, the transparency has increased quite substantially. And I think that's been kind of the task, and especially with the new members on the board, the transparency of how they fund things, where they get their money, all their money from. And you gotta remember, 85% of the operations of the library is tax supported, right? Through Marigold, through direct contributions, and as well as support for in-kind services, like maintenance of the facility and the building and other types of things. So it is a tax, it is a municipal library. I want to be clear, it's a municipal library, right? It is tax supported, and they get, I think last year's donations was about $20,000, if I recall, from your budget, for $21,000. And so I think that's something to be very important, is that it is fully tax supported, and to understand the needs of the community, I think is really, really important to find out that, hey, maybe they don't want hard books in a library, maybe they want more programs, or maybe they want to be able to borrow a ladder versus borrowing a book, right? There's libraries, like I said, libraries have gone from, shh, be quiet, it's research, right? To a vibrant kind of place that's kind of like a community where people can interact and connect appropriately. So.
And can I clarify one other thing that people seem to assume, and it may be council may assume that too, when you see a budget come through and it talks about us getting grants, and getting grants for having staff. Trust me, Mary searches wide and far to find grants, but what is not clear to, I believe, council and the people on, is that those grants don't fully pay for that member. They only cover a portion of the wage for a granted position. So the library itself has to spend the extra money to cover the cost of that person working in the library. And that's not insignificant when you look at the real dollars. So when you say there's grants out there, go look for grants, we can do that. But the cost of that person is not fully covered by a grant.
Grants are not a sustainable way to have employees.
No. But that is one of the questions I hear frequently as well. What are grants? Get grants.
Well, and
you need to understand they don't cover everything, and they will change from year to year.
And the other thing I think that's caused some confusion with the library board and council too, the policy's still in place that we talked about with them, right? The policy that the library board must present a balanced budget to council. That gives a false sense of security, right? Like, you have to balance it to present it to council when you're not really telling the full truth, right? So that's a policy that's really kind of setting you up for failure over the long term, because you're always presenting a budget in the black when that's not really what's actually happening. When council sees something that's in the black all the time, say, well, you're positive by $5,000. What do you mean you need more money, right? And so that policy, that's one of the things that Dan and I've been talking about, is that policy needs to go, and you need to be honest and frank with council.
And to be open about it, transparent, we've talked about that on the board with regards to that, but if the board policy hasn't and won't change for some time, then I've also introduced the fact, as what we did with the budget you were now given, is that we give the budget as per the library policy, but we provide an addendum to show the real cost of operating the library. So we follow the policy, we present a balanced budget, but we also show you what the real cost is, and add it as an addendum for information.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank
Are we beating the library to death yet?
I just wanted to share something about visitors. Now this was last year's, but in one of Mary's reports, it said there were 5,699 visits in the month of April. And year to date, up to that point, was 21,743. Now some could be overlapping, right? Like you'd be the same person going 3 times. But program attendance for April, there were 688 attendees for programming. So, and they had 83 external room bookings and 25 exams. So, like you think in a month, 1 month, having, almost 6,000 people walk through the door. It's a lot.
That's a long 10 seconds.
I know.
That was, yeah. First one, Jordan, good job.
I'm
Gonna be
good
here
with
well,
the
guys.
ask presented.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Michael, Vicky?
Yeah.
Jenny, got it, good?
Yes.
Unanimous, continue on.
All right, handy bus.
So the handy bus came and presented to the council in September, I believe it was, looking for additional funding. This additional funding is to help their capital expenses to go after a replacement vehicle, as well as support, increased support operations, because they've seen a substantial jump in services. They've also forwarded this request on to Okotoks and Foothills County. Foothills County hasn't made a decision yet. Okotoks is looking like they're gonna fund it for only 1 year at the requested amount that the handy bus had provided, because they're expanding their transit system locally, and the handy bus, not sure how the handy bus fits in Okotoks' long-term plans, but they're trying to figure out what that looks like with their transit system and integration. So that's the basis of it. It is a valuable service to our residents because it does provide medical assistance both inside and outside the community. And it takes advantage of it doesn't take advantage, supports those most at risk within this community.
This is an ongoing, right, Chris?
This is
will now
ongoing.
be.
Yeah. So this will increase their fee for service from about $29,000 down up to about $54,000. And depending what Okotoks decides to do in Foothills County, this funding would still be used to support operations if they both said no in the future.
It's a tough one because they have expensive operating costs, right, in their vans, but they can't really increase their service level to cover those costs. But like you said, it is incredibly valuable.
And their vans are, the one that they use for the shuttle is 360,000 K on it, I believe.
So
Now,
it's pretty rough.
It's starting, we used that one when we went up to the casino with Shepherd Park, and yeah, it's needing a little TLC in itself. It probably cost that just to fix that one. But I think that's where they're going, is it, and most of them, and I don't think that's the highest mileage on the vans that they have. They're just, the smaller vans are easier, they don't take as much abuse as that large one does. And I think the large one, is that not what they're using with FCS for the, our transportation system, kind of, our Fridays to get everybody around. So I think it's an important one.
Yeah, well, and that's a pilot project too. Remember that
Yeah.
Friday pickup is a pilot project which ends, I think, at the end of March. And then they'll make a decision how best to move forward with it, and whether additional funding comes in. Some of this funding will go as part of the leverage to seek grant funding from the province to replace one of their buses or one of their vehicles. And so that's kind of $54,000 if all the money comes in from Foothills and from Okotoks and ourselves. $54,000 would go towards leveraging the funding from the province to replace that one.
They were expressing when they presented to us, board difficulties.
Yes.
Are they still have they had any?
That situation has not changed since that presentation.
What, board?
They're just having a hard time getting board members to participate.
Well, somebody that ran for council is now board member, Candace McCormick apparently. That's what I thought I read, heard, so they are getting some activity in regards to people stepping up and wanting to come in with a goal to help.
It's gonna be important as moving forward.
Well, that's the thing, the board, if the board does not get enough volunteers, then the service disappears, right?
I'm good with it. I know what that handy bus does. I was on the board years ago. Those vehicles are rough.
How many do they
I'm
have?
gonna be proud of it, right?
How many vehicles do they have,
There's the big one and two others.
I was gonna say 3.
Two small, there's the two small vans and then the big one that, and I think the big one's the oldest of them all.
Around the horn? All
I'm
good?
Yeah.
Very good.
Gift of music?
So this one was a recent request in November to council, to the new council, for a $7,000 ask to support the Gift of Music program. They had previously come the previous year for an ask, and council denied that request at a level of $30,000. And so this is a new request with a new executive director that has scaled it back a bit, so.
I'm okay with it because it's an outreach program. This doesn't have anything to do, this is separate from their paid performances. And it's completely separate from the Harvard Performing Arts Foundation. This is another entity that's providing, a different experience of music, a different style of music often. It's much more classically based.
It's specific to schools and seniors is where it's focused to.
This is, yeah. But for $7,000, and for $7,000, I think there's more than enough benefit to this group and the work that they're doing. So, minor.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, for the reason that they're going.
Is this
level of
yearly or is
service.
this this year?
This is yearly,
This
would be a new fee-for-service request and a new fee-for-service agreement. It would be for 26 and 27, because once we review it in 27, we're not sure if the program, the council will support the program continuing the way it is, or if we find a different approach.
So we can review this next year?
Okay. For 2028.
Again, to Jamie's point, if we can ask for a follow-up after we do this, like they're very specific where they're taking this funding, and that's why I support it, because it's focused on the seniors community and through education, through the schools for young people. So instead of you going to the event, it's the event going to them, which I think is really, really valuable. And we could ask the same thing of Kahina to come to us next year and just say, okay, with this, what was the outreach? Where did you see, do you have a testimonial from the schools that said this was a fantastic thing? Or you get something from the Manor that says, when they showed up once a quarter and did this at the Manor, it was like New Year's Eve for everybody that lives there. So we can get that kind of a taste.
I agree, we should have a feedback on either what happened, what they did with it.
Yeah.
What experience there was, yes.
I do get to take in, when they come to the hospital, I typically go up to the long-term care unit, and it is fascinating to watch the residents during the concerts and the families.
I don't anticipate that Kahina would have any problem reporting back in detail.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with it too. Music is one of the better things that we can offer, especially to that outreach group.
All good?
All right. Very good. All right, we're gonna get into the capital projects now, or the bigger projects. I'm gonna rip through these and try to keep it under 5 seconds each. We'll see how well we do.
Can I just for clarification's sake, after 5 seconds, we might do the quick yay, nay. Obviously, though, when we come back Wednesday, there might be more nays. I'm just being,
100%.
Yeah.
This is
just
to
being
give them
clear
some
where our
direction
process
as
is
to
going.
how
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah,
So,
because at the end of the day, when we come back with the revenue model and what the
Yeah.
tax increase is going to be with all the A's attached to it.
There might be a few changes.
There might be a few.
Okay, just clarifying that where we're going on Wednesday.
thank you.
Okay, I'll pause for an additional 3 seconds if you guys.
Thanks.
I was a little bit hesitant to pause for discussion after any of these. I wanted to just go through all of them first, and then you can pick out ones maybe. That way we can, yeah. You think?
I'll let you go this time.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right. New website, $80,000. It's a replacement of the town's public website, highriver.ca, with an updated platform.
Okay, can you go into full detail?
Okay. Wallaceville pathway lighting, $480,000, installation of pathway lighting along Wallaceville near Center Street. First Street Southwest sidewalk widening, $200,000, widening of sidewalk of the west side of First Street Southwest between 6th and 7th Ave, includes paving stones, catch basin, bump out, and other related improvements.
So,
Not allowed to.
How much?
200.
Now I'm stuck between two.
This is from Beef and Brew or in front of Beef and Brew.
12th Avenue drainage, it's $35,000. Drainage improvements at 12th Ave and First Street, installation of new catch basin to improve condition.
Just to improve? Or will it fix?
It will not fix.
No, it will not fix.
Can't drain it across.
We have significant grade issues there, so while if we can make a minor improvement, it won't fix the issue. We're doing a larger stormwater study for all of town, and we've actually asked the consultant to take a bit further look at the larger area to see if we can address that one spot. So it might be better to wait for the additional information.
Because that end of 12th is lower than the other end, so everything else that already exits out onto that ditch stops that one from doing anything.
It's the ditch, yeah,
It's the ditch on the other side of the 12th that's actually,
the issue.
it's higher there than it is, than the road is itself.
Correct, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So we could do some bigger pipes and maybe get some storage underground, or at least make it flow a little bit easier so it doesn't always get blocked up because we have a problem with branches and stuff like that. It won't alleviate the issue, it may just flow a little bit better. So, yeah, I would wait until we have the additional information.
Crescent Ave Southeast mains replacement, $2.3 million. Replacement of underground water mains on Crescent Avenue Southeast from 8th Ave to 5th Street, includes sidewalk installations to the area.
this is also sewer, is it not, right?
Yeah, it's full main replacement, so water, sewer, storm, road, sidewalk, it's like when we go in and we tear out a road, it's the full thing.
So, when we look at these costs, are these, do some of them include our staff?
No.
What's built into the two?
It never
well,
includes-
The 35,000 for starters, and then the 2.3 million.
Costs never include staff costs, staff time.
Okay.
It's typically consultants, contractors, external purchases, so it's all our external costs. So, for example, Kaylee is managing this project. Her time is not included in the 3.9, that's within salary and wage and not allowed for this. This would include, I think we've already funded the consultant for design and construction. So this is mainly contractor costs. So we tender it out, we get bids, and then whoever we award to, the big excavator company, whoever it is, this would be to cover that.
So these are hard costs, I guess.
This is, yes.
Thanks.
I guess it varies from project to project, but in this particular example, yes.
I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'll say Dibert Happy Trail.
Nailed it.
Nice. Happy Trails
Actually,
ramp.
deeper.
Oh.
Dibert.
It's Dibert, you're right.
Okay. $50,000, construction of a pedestrian access ramp connecting to the Happy Trails network near Dibert Close Southwest.
Oh, there's a spelling mistake. Dibert. in the
Moving on.
first.
Curling ice sound baffles, $70,000. Purchase and installation of sound baffles at the BSRC Curling Club. Wastewater treatment plant, WT backwash water reuse program, $14,500. Supply and installation of two 208V three-phase pumps which would be permanently placed inside the backwash tank. BSRC large ice overhead door, this is $70,000. Replacement of the large overhead door servicing the BSRC ice surface. Museum air conditioning, $19,000. installation or replacement of air conditioning at the Highwood Museum. Public Works sprung overhead door replacement. This is $52,000, replacement of the overhead door at the Public Works building. Little Bow School roof replacement for $20,000, roof replacement at the Little Bow School building in Shepherd's Family Park. Fleet replacement, this is a 2026 ask, front plow truck replacement. This is $515,000, planned replacement of the front snow plow truck as part of the 2026 fleet program. NGO battery replacement, $32,000, replacement of batteries in the NGO ice resurfacer. It's a 2016 model. Rotary Windmills landscaping, $50,000. Landscaping improvements at the Rotary Windmills site along McLeod Trail in collaboration with the Rotary Club in celebration of their 100th anniversary. Wastewater treatment plant dewatering system, $30,000. Construction of an external dewatering system for the water treatment plant. 112th Street East improvement, design only. This is $100,000. Design and geotechnical investigation work for future improvements to the 112th Street East Road.
What are we improving?
The road.
The road.
Well, get that, but what about the road needs fixing?
Well, there's the gravel, certainly the gravel, when we acquired it from the county, we had a typical county road that was out there, and it is near the end of, I guess, near the end of its life, per se.
Well, and the volumes keep going up as well, so I think we're taking that road as far as we can with what options we have. So in terms of surfacing, dust control, grading, etc., we need to deal with the base if we're to improve the level of service to any degree, which involves doing a proper geotech because it's never been done, and then designing what that structure would look like, and getting council's feedback on what they want there as well.
This has nothing to do with moving this road?
No, not moving this road. This road, if everybody needs to understand with the Northeast Area Structure Plan, this road does stay in its current alignment because of the Hampton bypass that connects there.
Oh, it is
It stays in that relatively current alignment. There might be some tweaks at the north end of it, but there's not much we can tweak. And this, you know, at the end of the day, it's looking at an intern kind of road structure while development may understanding the timing of development within that neighborhood as well. Because at the end of the day, that road classification may change dramatically once development gets underway. So, but this is just getting it to probably get the geotech done, understand what the road base is like, and probably rebuild it back to a gravel standard of some kind.
Don't we have a bunch of roads that are kind of in this condition, like in this area, in this state?
Yes.
Yeah, we have two in northeast, in northwest.
So 112 and then
66.
64.
64.
Yeah,
And Cold Trail.
Cold Trail to some degree, yeah.
It's not as
Cold Trail's not.
gravelly, but it needs help.
It's the same issue with the base.
How do we determine which one we're gonna address?
That's why we're bringing it to council.
Okay.
So this was certainly identified by the previous council to bring back options. So we're bringing back options for design only, and understand that level of service. And if council recalls, we do have 64th and Cold Trail on your priority list to come back with options of design for those and what the timing would be for those constructions.
Yeah, they were further down
Sorry, Jordan.
All good, thanks. Public Works building pre-design, $60,000 pre-design for a new Public Works building.
This goes hand in hand with the potential relocation to 112. We acquired a piece of property on 112 for the future Public Works site. This gives the crew a little bit of hope that something may be taking place in the future, but we already use it for a parks building. And Parks bases all their operations out of there in the summer months. And so it's been functioning quite well from that perspective.
Great. Council chambers audio refresh. This is $50,000 upgrade of audio equipment in council chambers.
Would the cost not be split with the county?
That is the split cost.
Okay.
And is it planned to maybe use some of that equipment from there up here, down here?
No.
No? You don't want anything to do with those up there, it's not worth
I
it.
think, Councillor, the mics themselves.
Are the problem?
And the overhead. The problem is that, is a drop ceiling room just like this. If you look at any other council chamber in the area, any of the surrounding municipalities, they're actually chambers designed for sound, et cetera, et cetera. This is just another room in this building, and unfortunately, it promotes a lot of feedback. So we need to have looked at, figured out by a professional AV company, so that we can hopefully eliminate the dead spots, the feedback, and
Okay.
the low volume issues.
No, sounds good, thank you.
Fire and Protective Services vehicle computer refresh, $45,000, replacement of computer systems in fire and protective services vehicles. Garbage truck replacement, $966,000. This is replacement of garbage collection truck.
One
This-
truck?
Two.
You missed, yeah.
And this is just a placeholder, depending if we proceed with the RFP, and if the RFP is successful and we choose to go to a different service provider, this is just a placeholder so that if we don't decide to go with the contractor, we can at least order, because they're probably 2 years out.
And we paid for them when they came in, kind of thing.
We put,
You
well,
put it half of it down?
that's, depends on the contract, but at the same time, what we're seeing with vehicles, because there's such a lead time, is that the price that you see today is not necessarily the price when it's delivered.
Do they get to change that?
Yes.
What?
We're seeing all the vehicle providers do this. Fire's the worst.
Yeah.
You're seeing fire equipment jump by millions of dollars in their delivery lead time.
Must be some way to stop that.
Well,
There's so few. of them that do
legislatively,
it.
legislatively, both provinces and the federal government and the US government are looking at ways to try and control that, but there's just not.
Rescue tool replacement, E42. This is $108,000, replacement of rescue tools for engine 42. Wastewater treatment plant upgrade. It's an additional $200,000 increase to the budget. It's existing from carry forwards. I'll just make sure that I make that
Yes.
very clear. And it's a design work for future wastewater treatment plant upgrades.
This is just for our own, this is to bring our own up to,
This is either. We'll need direction from council before we do it. Because we are allocating design funds, whether we design the regional or we design a standalone of the same. So we need the direction from council before we actually work with.
okay, so this is the design for either or.
Yeah.
Whether it's locally or,
Correct.
okay.
Yes, Michael?
Then that would be a shared cost, because if it's either or, if it's us individually, we carry the 200K ourselves. If we're doing it as a joint venture, then seemingly that 200 becomes 100 piece, meaning 100 us, 100 foothills, no?
Not directly, but possible, yeah, to a certain degree it would be shared. Because if
50,
you plant,
yeah.
so the carry forward is about 2.8, if I remember right, Jordan? So 2.8 million plus the 200. Essentially, we have a $30 million facility and we're taking 10%. So, of course, if the facility cost goes up, your 10% goes up.
Yeah.
So it's not an exact half. But
No, yeah.
2.8.
And that would be determined on the negotiation too, in terms of how do we structure that? If the town is 100% owner of that, do we pay 100% and then recover through rates, or does the county pay upfront? Or, I mean, there's a lot of.
There's a whole bunch more to go there, we're not even close to 1%.
But we do have to be aware of the timing and the pressures from environment to get this done by, is it 2027?
2028.
2028?
5
Yeah.
AUMAs ago, we met with the minister and told him to basically pound sand, so.
The council may choose to do that again as
Yeah,
well.
we'll choose to do that again, we'll actually come up with some money.
I think we used those actual words.
Yeah, we did.
All right. School sport field upgrades, $28,000, upgrades to sport fields at Highwood High Ball Diamond and Holy Spirit Soccer Field. Transportation Master Plan, this is $75,000, it's development of a town-wide transportation master plan. Outdoor rink flood system, $75,000, installation of a permanent flood system for the outdoor skating rink.
And this is the rink water system so that members of the community can lead on the flood aspect of things?
Flood and sort of maintenance kind of thing, promote it to be a user group.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to promote out of that one?
If I could just jump back to the baseball diamonds, what are we doing to the baseball diamonds that cost $28,000, and is the school board chipping in at all?
I don't have an answer.
I'm looking it up without Nicole here. This was capital improvements to bring them up to a usable standard.
I can't hear you, sorry.
It was to bring it up to a usable standard. I can't remember the exact details.
There was the shale being replaced.
Yeah.
On both of them. There was the fencing issues as well as the gophers.
And leveling.
And to level on both of the school ones, because neither of the school ones were redone when the rest of our diamonds were. That was left to the schools, I believe, to do it, if I remember reading all my notes.
Yeah, that's correct. And the majority of that 28,000 is going towards Highwood High. There's about 4,500, I think, 5,000 that's going towards MDT, a small amount, because the field's in relatively good condition besides some gopher issues that we have to deal with, and to get the irrigation system up and running, because they haven't had that tested and ran the irrigation system for quite
Because it actually has an irrigation system?
Yeah.
Both of them do?
Both of them do.
Both of them do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what that is. That does not change our level of service that we already provide for our existing ball fields that we have increased the level of service for. So that's already in the operational budget.
The school board?
They're not interested. Basically their answer is if you want to upgrade them, go ahead.
We have a meeting with them when, coming up?
In February, I believe. Yeah, with Foothills, not NDC or Christ the Redeemer. But yeah, they don't put a lot of money into field maintenance, the school boards.
And just a reminder, this is just a capital cost. There's still an operating cost on top of this. But yes, Garth nailed the scope. Good memory.
Just not a lot of sleep.
All right, High Country Drive intersection, $365,000, intersection improvements at High Country Drive and High View Gate Northwest. Library, sorry.
And we've already even opened this little brown bag.
Library accessibility upgrades, $425,000, accessibility and safety improvements at the High River Library.
Does that include the lighting and everything?
That would be lighting, that would be enhanced parking, that would be trying to manage the stormwater, but now here and there's the stormwater study, we might want to kind of incorporate that into this piece.
They might tie together.
Because stormwater is a big problem there. And so that's just the kind of those improvements. This does not include, on the concept plan you see, does not include their signage improvements, does not include the little learning center. Those types of things that are on there, those are certainly feasible and optional, but we had kind of done an overall landscape design for that area to enhance it and improve it, so.
We're done?
My question is, does the library get
to have any discussion around this. I looked at the drawings and I looked what was there, and one of the questions that of course came to my mind was the learning center, and it was like, okay, does that become part of the library? I haven't heard of it. I know we were promised some of those
Yeah.
drawings earlier, and I haven't seen it. So I just want to know if the library has any input.
Yeah, you will, because it's still a concept. This budget is only for the road improvements and the lighting improvements.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is trying to get that parking a little bit deeper, getting the flood, because right now, most vehicles in the wintertime, when you exit your door in that angle parking, you actually step into the swale that's full of ice, right?
Yes, yes, I do.
Right? So it's about making sure that there's better storm control as well as deeper parking. And some vehicles actually stick out they're long enough they stick out into the drivable lane, so.
What's happening with the lighting? Because I go to the library meetings this time of year, it's dark.
Yeah.
It is tricky.
Yeah, there'd be additional lighting there, pedestrian scale lighting that would illuminate the sidewalk a bit better, and a wider sidewalk of course too.
Well, in the options, it does say you could proceed with the concept, or, which is your 425,000, or you said 2 Fortis streetlights are 75,000?
Yeah. Yeah, two separate streetlights, if you just want to put the typical Cobra heads out there, would certainly triple your lighting capabilities, but those would be high-level streetlights, the typical ones you see on the corners. We're talking here about pedestrian scale that's more focused on the sidewalk.
And it doesn't include any accessibility for handicapped or?
No. Well, it would improve the drop-down from the parking area. So it would improve the accessibility drop-down and formalize the accessible parking stalls out front better. But it
This
doesn't.
is mainly parking outside of, not the entrance to getting into the library?
No, that's correct.
Does this include also the clearing of the sidewalk around the post box? Because I have investigated that a number of times with the librarian. And sometimes it's cleared, sometimes not. And when it's cleared, sometimes it's piled right up and it comes back in front of the box.
So we don't, Riley, can you answer that
I
question?
can't remember where the post box is, to be
On
honest.
the
I'm
south
looking.
corners.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. Because we don't, and where Chris was going is we don't actually clear in front of the post boxes, that's kind of the post.
Yeah.
But we would be doing that sidewalk.
It's only a few feet from the entrance to the library.
Yeah, I can, there's probably a conflict between Canada Post and our contractors, so I can take that away.
Right, that concludes the summary of all of the projects that we have on the project listing. They're all, if you go to binder 2, you can see the updated project proposed listing. That's what this reflects that. And then of course we can call up as we go through discussions, the briefing notes on the big screen if you'd like to dive in deeper to any one of those.
Anything that we missed? We were spent a lot of hours going back to previous council minutes with commitments and all those types of things, so.
Thanks for including the walkway for the manor.
Can I ask a question? And maybe I've misunderstood, when we talked about the batteries for the Zamboni, can I just call it a Zamboni? I know that's a brand, but, was it also not recommended that we just buy a new one? Was that not one of the recommendations, did I totally,
We did price that out as an option.
I never saw price in it,
No, it never got that far. They're expensive.
yeah?
I think it was, do you remember, Chris, 240, somewhere around
I
there?
thought it was north of 300.
300. It was expensive, and when we looked at the cost of the battery, the existing battery has given us problems. It doesn't have much life left. It's not like we're just replacing it because it's 10 years old. It's
Right.
actually been actively giving us issues.
So you're just really asking, you're feeling that the battery replacement will
It'll give us another
limp
10
us
years.
through for a while?
Should be 10 years.
Yeah, Okay.
The end goal getting parts for it hasn't been great. They take a long time because it's not a local brand.
Well,
And the
yeah,
distributor,
yeah.
the group that provides the parts changed a couple times too, which hasn't been helpful. It's not like the Olympias or the Zambonis. They're a lot easier to get parts for, unfortunately, because the end goal's been a little hard.
And their life cycles should be longer than 10 years.
100%.
Yeah, they're not going down a bumpy road or.
No, we just spent another, what was it, about 20,000 on driveline issues for it as well.
Yeah,
So it hasn't been a problem-free machine. It's been expensive.
And I think it's the first generation of electric.
It might be. The electric's been super nice. Like, we really enjoy having an electric machine over the propane.
Yeah.
The propane's it's not nice to handle. You're always dealing with the tanks, there's the safety issues associated with it. Having the electric's super nice. This machine just hasn't been that great.
Right. Yeah, but you can't be in the middle of hockey season and wait 10 weeks for a new battery.
No, this would be changed out in summer.
No, I know, yeah. Yeah.
Evelyn?
Yeah, I just asked accessibility, you were mentioning about the upgrades and so on to the roads. On the corner of 7th and 1st Street Southwest, there is a small little park actually owned by the town. And I know that because I fell there a number of times because the water collects there and it freezes. And so I did ask about it and they said it belonged to the establishment, and then they checked it out and it belongs to the town. It's a continual pooling of water there. And I looked at it and you're right, some of the roads are higher than that, and there isn't a drainage accessibility that works very well. So I just don't know if that's been noticed.
Okay, we'll bring it in. We got a ton of those because High River is flat. And it's a problem.
But this
With
one,
drainage.
this one's owned by the
I
town,
get it.
that corner,
We
that's why.
gotta stay on topic with what we've got in front of us. Evelyn, please. Okay, let's get to the list. Wallaceville lighting,
Website,
hard no.
yeah.
It's just, where do you end that? Why just Wallaceville? We've got 28 kilometers of pathways. You can start that when we're,
But I think maybe
going down the
seeing-
canal and everything else. Out to the northwest, all the way along the river and everything, you can do all of that too. Like, it's just, our pathways, they're dark at night. Just-
Well, and it could become a bit of a safety issue, but I mean, I don't think we need to do it right now.
Safety issue for what reason?
For people walking.
But that's every path.
No,
That's what I'm
I agree.
saying, that's every single path. Like, there's lighting along there because of the street lighting. It's not
More so than the canal.
more so than the canal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it a little different path than some of those, just because it is the main corridor
From one side.
from
to
one
the
side to the other. But I don't feel, when I look at everything else, it's so far down in my list this year that
Me too.
it could go.
No.
On that, we have to start looking at needs as opposed to wants.
You got her.
Can we throw some out we're ready to get rid of?
My needs are at $3.8 million already. First Street sidewalk. No,
This is in front of,
Beacon Brew.
yeah,
Yeah.
Beef and Brew, Coke Walmart.
KFC.
Yeah. Mama's
I did
Kitchen.
Mama's Kitchen, let's go.
I took a picture, this is what the sidewalk
Me
looks
sure we
like.
brought up names nobody
This
remembers.
is what the sidewalk like on the other side of it looks like, and that's what they want to make it look like.
On both sides?
Up here,
Just on
This is
the
the way it looks right
margins,
now.
Juniper.
and this is how they want to make it.
Yeah,
look
it's
like.
closest to the actual
Yeah.
line.
So the rationale behind this was to, like, cause it's been brought up a couple times in the past, is just to create continuity with the rest of the downtown core.
Yeah.
Because across the road, it was completed, right, to the corner,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just that piece that was left.
can we push it forward to 27?
Keep pushing her down, and we've pushed it for
These
4 years now.
These projects never leave the inventory list, right? They will find a spot elsewhere.
So, no?
No.
That's a no. 12th Avenue drainage,
I agree with Riley to postpone
we need more info.
till we get the rest of that. Because to dig in
Dig a
one
bigger
hole,
ditch.
yeah. Like, really, I agree 100% with that.
Crescent Ave mains,
Yes.
hard yes.
Hard yes.
You don't screw around with mains.
What, is sort of, if you were gonna borrow money for that rather than increase taxes, what sort of a level of cost would you look at that? Like, are you looking like tens of millions, or is 2 million like a?
Well, that's kind of the estimate that we've got from the engineers, so they're.
I don't mean for that particular, I mean just
Like-
in borrowing in general.
Yeah. Like, this is fully funded out of utilities, right? So this whole project is funded by sewer and water utility and storm.
Oh.
So it's not a tax funded,
Oh, okay,
This won't be a tax increase.
no.
This is,
Yeah.
this is funded.
okay, so then,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what happened.
But
I
if
mean,
you
I
wanna
didn't
do,
think
if
it
you
was
wanna
that.
do a local improvement, that would be the appropriate way to start that process, to do a local improvement, which would mean that construction would be deferred till next year.
Oh, okay, yeah, I need, something needs to be done.
That makes my number a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always wondering the same thing.
Are there any more like that?
Yes.
Would you share?
Yeah, well, we'll go through the list, I don't know it all.
Okay, okay.
Divert close ramp.
Only question I had is that you have two locations. One is at Diver Close, and the other location would have been closer to Spitzy House. In the diagrams, you had two
Yeah.
separate,
Yeah.
it's two separate, and I think the idea with it being at the end of Diver Close was that that's the Manners straight through access to the ramp, whereas the other one is a block and a half over, but that one could be.
Yeah, and the one, the block and a half over, we own the property that's right adjacent to it. So
Okay.
we outright own that, we bought that back in 2020, I believe
Oh,
it
so that's
was.
the difference, you have to buy this property.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on Deeper,
think it's
we have to buy
right,
land
it's-
from Adams.
It's on 8.
Yeah, cause there is one on, just over on Sixth, I believe, that's a ramp up.
Yeah.
That's by the Friendship Center.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So to split the difference, you're only moving one over by a block or so. I think that to stay at the Delbert Crescent, but does that increase the cost?
Yeah, cause they don't own the
No, we
land.
don't
they
own the
buy it.
land.
Yeah.
So that would increase that cost
Yeah.
then.
This is just the engineering aspect of things.
Is there an
No, this was construction.
Was it construction?
Yeah, the land was so small.
The second one is on 9.
If we get it at market rate,
That's included in the
that's
price.
included. It was actually a fairly small cost because
Yeah.
it's such a small sliver.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we haven't approached them, so we don't know how well that sale will go.
Yeah, cause this one,
This is 9, so here's the
And that
map.
process could not see construction take
No,
place.
it's another block.
Correct.
Because this isn't, yeah, I think it's,
No,
no, this is 9. This is 8.
You would only try to buy just a sliver.
Yeah,
There's no.
there's no map. Yeah, this is right. This is appraised.
Open to buy the
then
land.
this was around.
And to buy the land.
This is, it's one more.
Good question.
Good
question, do we,
Yeah.
on Divert, do we already own a utility right away for a sidewalk?
That's a lot of money.
Or a chunk on that side? Because there's a sidewalk on the one side. Do we own land on the other side?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Very little.
Okay.
There'd be some from back and forth, but I don't think it's that much.
Okay. That's
And then the close is gonna be,
Riley,
Yeah,
this ramp, if we go to Divert,
yeah.
okay, so here's 9.
he paid for it?
Yeah.
Everything.
No, this is
See,
construction.
the ramp is down
Like
here,
that
but here's where they're
50,000
suggesting the
number
ramp be
seems
down there.
really low
So
to me.
1,
It's just a tiny little
2,
ramp.
3,
I know
4
that,
blocks
but
away.
You're talking about scooters and stuff going like.
Oh,
Yeah.
right,
That's quite a
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
here,
long
here,
grade to it,
right here.
Sounds really
No, we had an engineer.
So they're
look at
only a
it.
block apart,
Well, it's not
but
that
you-
bad.
Okay.
To change the curb, like,
Scott
trying to
looked at
change
it.
the curb, it's like 20,000.
Property law.
Yeah, there's that.
And Michael, where did this come from?
From some folks at the manor.
It was from the manor, yeah.
It was directly from the
Yeah, they came-
residents.
They came right to me and.
And going down to the end of the cul-de-sac to the west.
It's also a fairly steep ramp at the end of McLeod, which I think is probably the
That's what I'm-
challenge.
That's what I'm saying with Riley, this just doesn't seem like if it's just doing the same ramp that we have over there, because it is a lot steeper than the one on 7th.
Yeah.
No, this is supposed to be wheelchair accessible.
All right.
Yeah, that's what was, that was the direction they were supposed to price out, so.
So the 50K is to build it, we still need to buy land.
No,
That
that was
includes land.
included.
At market rate.
That includes the necessary land at market rate.
And, sorry, I know the conversation happened, have you talked to Adam about?
We have not talked to,
Okay,
there's the, yeah, that's the hiccup.
you don't have the land to do this.
Correct, we don't have the land, we have assumed market rate.
Okay. You gotta deal with the land first,
Yes,
you're kind of screwed.
correct.
Thanks. Can you figure out the land by Wednesday?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying no, but if the Adams family says no, then this is a moot point.
Yes.
So,
Well, it could move it to the one that we.
Yeah,
or move it to the other one.
The one on
Move it to the other one, but the ramp concept could stay,
And that would be on 9th, or at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Where would you own the land?
which is still, that's still not that far off, because it's not as bad as going all the way over to the Friendship Center, which is on 6th.
Yeah.
Like, to the only other ramp is on 6th, like at a decent ramp that you can go up.
Well, and the one on 9th, because we own that whole chunk of property, gives you a lot better area to play with,
Yeah.
to build the grade.
So
That's more.
my question to Riley was, did, you guys were having another conversation, is on Dibert. And Craig, you could tell us a little more, because this photo doesn't show it. So if people from the manor cross the street, there's a sidewalk obviously that they can go on. Does it go in front of the old residence, yours? Okay, so then how do we hop across the street?
That's exactly.
Right, especially,
Right.
so do we own a sidewalk right away, whatever we call it,
On 9th.
on 9th and or on Dibert on the west side?
9th does.
yeah.
The ninth does, Dibert does not,
Dibert
so you're
doesn't,
dealing
so-
with a mid-block crossing on.
So that's the thing, on
Ninth makes way
9th,
more
you can
sense.
come off of the manor and go straight
Yeah.
across onto 9th and stay on the west
There's
side.
nothing here, right?
And
And then,
you'd have one crossing across the South Trail and then you're all the way onto the ramp.
Yeah, it makes way more sense.
I would say, I would agree that to put it over to the, what is that?
And you'd be able
It's-
to clean up
it's
that
supposed to be
area
9th.
on 9th,
it's hard to tell what
Yeah.
that.
at the end of that cul-de-sac.
Yeah, 9th would make more sense, like just being that block over.
You'd have a lot more room to work with, you'd be able to have a
And
little.
there's sidewalks
wider-
on both sides of that.
Dibert would be convoluted, there's no question here, that's exactly what I was thinking, James, that your sidewalk ends
Yeah,
at that alley.
and putting it on 9th, there's some certainty that whether it's exactly 50,000, we can actually allocate it and do it this year if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Keep it in for now. Yep.
So do we need to change the name of it from Dibert Happy Trails, right?
To the 9th.
So,
Yes.
so we'll keep, is everybody saying keep it in for now?
Yes.
Keep the 50,000 in, we're putting it on 9th.
Option
Rename
B.
the project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we should ask the manor folks. Because you're not quite twice as far.
If they're going on scooters.
I know, but if we put it in and they don't use it, I mean, if their vision is, this is the only place we can go, so people get really locked in, right?
Say twice as far though, what do you mean by that?
Well, the distance. if you're on
Fort
Diver
McLeod
versus 9, I'm using twice as far as just, it's less than twice as far.
Too
but-
bad.
We're talking a couple hundred yards.
I know, but we're
If
talking.
you're going up on Happy Trails, you're going for a ride for a while, so I don't, like, if the extra 200 yards is gonna keep you from going out, I can't go that far.
Well, that's what he's saying, why spend the money if they won't?
You know, if they're all excited because they can see where they're going to, and all this ask was so that they can go to the top of the berm and look at the river and the trees and the, you know, and they're not going all the way down. I just, should we,
On the west side of Divert, there's no
Just,
buildings.
Evelyn, I just gotta stay here for a minute. I gotta know, can we park this thing?
100% we can.
Like if we're here, I gotta know the land thing.
You
I've
want
still
to
got
check it out?
concerns, like, we gotta know the manor thing, I don't know who requires, like, talk to the manor. If we go to, are you okay if we go to 9th Manor?
well, I'm just saying. To me, it makes sense.
What makes sense?
To move it.
Nine, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but I mean,
I know what you're saying too, Mike.
there's a group of people that live at the manor. They think a certain way, and I'm not far off, kind of thinking that same way. So if they've got their mind set on something, and we just throw another solution, that makes sense to this group. I just think it's, I'm not asking to have a vote there or anything, but I can talk to a few people and say, hey, this makes more sense because of these reasons.
Okay, can you go talk to your people?
Yep.
That's part of this one.
And you might wanna say to them, if you want it round, this is where you're gonna get it. If you're not gonna use it, there won't be any round.
Yeah, well, that's just basically it. If the vision was to have it right there and they see this path right out the window, yeah,
So Mike's following up with,
Yeah.
and then I'm parked right now.
I'll let you know.
And then if, depending on that conversation,
Let everybody.
I may or may not follow up with the landowner.
Appreciate knowing too.
You got something quick, Tony?
I work at the manor,
There.
and I can let you know that the seniors, what they're looking for is easy access from there to get to George Lake Park.
There we go.
So
Then it's fine.
9th is better.
Thank you.
Then 9th is what?
You saved me
Works.
going and having coffee for a few hours.
So you think, Tony, the 9th would work?
Yes. Because there's quite a few that use walkers, but they also have a big group that uses mobile scooters. And they love being able to travel along the river, they get a view, and then it gets them to George Lake Park. Without having to go down sidewalks.
9 a.m. is a great choice.
Roads.
Morning light will be beautiful.
That is a great choice. There.
Thank you.
Siri just told us exactly what to do along with Tony.
There we go. So it's nice.
So we're at 9.
It's 9th.
It's 9, gotcha.
We're hanging it all on Tony.
That's awesome.
Curling baffles,
Why?
$70,000, and just the number for, it just
Did you say bye?
really high.
Huh?
Say bye?
No, I said, boy, that's a lot of money.
Oh, I thought you
For
said
just-
bye. I was
just-
like, yep, bye.
Well, bye too. Like, I don't think we should be spending that kind of money on that kind of a issue.
It's loud, and the reason they want it is because of seniors' hearing issues, and that the noise gets going in there, and they have trouble hearing.
And I can certainly identify with that.
It's a loud sport.
But I can also tell you that those baffles won't help the seniors.
It's still gonna be loud.
It's still gonna be loud.
Yeah.
It's gonna dampen it a little bit. Park it. We're getting parked.
Yeah.
Okay. Backwash water,
Yes.
For,
This comes out of utilities.
Okay.
that's funded?
Yeah. Or can be, if council approves it.
I got a question on, there's sorry, it's off of the funding piece, but there's a certain amount of water that we can use, right? Do we know that number? Like there's.
It's processed water, right? It's all-
this is processed
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, no, but Alberta Environment put a caveat on how much you could use, right? Cause it went through AMA so that we could reuse water. It was a whole sustainability thing around water, and there's a maximum amount you can do, and I just wanted to, don't worry about it, it's not a big question, I just thought somebody might know the number, but it's fine.
But it's not changing our use, is it? It's not actually changing our use, just the ease of use.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I like this. I like that we do this.
Yeah, it's good, it stays, right? Stays?
Yeah.
Good. BSRC large ice door, yes, please.
That one sounds like a must.
Please,
Yes.
replace the orange tarp.
Can I ask one question though? I saw that there was a cost for design. There's a hole, you measure it, you tell them what size of door, I can design it. Like
There's actually structural issues with the masonry, which is why it's so expensive. We went to replace it on our own, using that method originally.
so when it collapsed,
And they basically said, oh, no, if there's masonry issues, you can't just replace it. And that was the reason we were having challenges getting it done, because we were putting in ice, but at the same time, we found out there was masonry issues. And you can't do the masonry while the ice is in.
okay, thank you.
So that's why it's the 70,000, because I also
Yeah,
thought.
because this is way
that
more
was
than a door.
Yeah, I did think I was.
This is actually rebuild the
Yeah, I
structure
have to
around
frame
it.
it out with some steel and redo some of the masonry and then put the door in. I think
I
the
have
door's
some
about
white
half of it.
insulated tarps for sale if anybody.
Instead of orange?
It would look better.
It'll soften the.
White and better.
On a roller?
I'll put them on a roller.
Yeah.
So yes?
Yes.
It's a maintenance thing to keep our building together there. Museum air conditioning. What'd you say, is this new, or is this?
This is new.
This is new.
Yeah.
Is
So-
there one in there now?
I don't think there is.
I don't think there's any.
No, so.
I don't know why it's so-
There's something on the back porch.
I was gonna say,
Just for the offices, I think.
I don't think
No,
that's
because the
air
office is-
conditioning
I
though.
think it's a dehumidifier.
A dehumidifier.
Yeah.
Which they would need
Might
for
be,
their.
yeah. So this is a request from the museum curator about increasing the level of comfort within that building during the summer months, as well as maintaining the artifacts.
I suspect it gets pretty warm.
I think it's a
It's
key.
hot in there.
I'm fine with it.
I think it's a key.
And that will deteriorate the collection.
Yeah.
19, I'm okay with that. Other. Good, museum? Nods, okay. Sprung door at Public Works, $52,000. How critical is this?
They keep freezing and jamming, particularly when they're cold. Would actually like to replace both, but knowing that there is a new facility on horizon, we need to at least get one done to get
Don't
us
get
through.
overzealous on when that's gonna happen. No.
Well, you can give me both doors. It's 52 a door. And like I said, operationally, they've been causing some issues. We've had a number of safety reports due to these doors and trucks hitting doors because they're not functioning properly. And so this is one of two. They both have the same issues, but at least let's get one done so we don't get locked out and we can always get the machinery out.
Yes.
It's an operational thing. And
Yep.
Yeah.
some of these are not the sexy ones. Little Bow School, new roof. We've got to protect those assets too, do we not?
Yeah, it's been meant to be done for a few years now.
Correct.
It's a small ask, I don't know, is it a need?
Yes. This roof is pretty far gone.
I'm leaning
It's
on you.
pretty much done. They patched it 3 or 4 times in the last little work,
It's missing a
3
lot
or
of
4
shapes.
times,
It's rough.
it is starting to be done, and what we had done when we talked with the lid on that whole issue and that, we went away from the cedar shakes, which were about $80,000 cost, and brought it down because it, not being a historical building, the asphalt shakes are fine on it. So that's where that cost come down to the 20 rather than, cause the other, the McCoy, or not the McCoy, yeah, the McCoy, that one is cedar shakes, and that's the only historical, truly historical building in that park.
Anybody look at tin roof? I know that's more, but they last longer.
That was talked about, and then the cost side of it, didn't feel that it was a valid way to go. Because of the structure also on the roof itself would need to be, I believe that the tin roof needs a lot more structure. So it would actually be replacing almost the whole roof, which is not really feasible.
I think you lose a little bit of your historical
the
intent to bringing in a tin roof.
The vibe of it and everything.
And I wouldn't want to be in there if it was raining or anything else.
Yes.
That would be deafening in there.
You put some baffles. Okay, so yes on Little School maintenance on the roof. Okay. The snowplow, 515. Explain this one a little bit more, Riley, and how critical is it?
This one's pretty important. This truck has had a number of issues over the years. We're actually to the point where we're concerned about passing safety because of the rust on the chassis. It's caught fire once.
All of it.
So yeah, this one's in rough shape.
The snowplow.
In the
Front
scrum.
end plow.
No, the truck itself.
The truck
Oh,
itself.
the truck itself.
Yeah, it's,
This is the
Inside the scrum structure.
yeah, it was inside the scrum when it caught fire.
Okay.
It was just parked there and it caught fire one day.
Oh, geez.
It sounds important if we need snow removal.
Yes.
Snow removal is pretty important on Facebook.
Because that one also has the sanding unit on the back of it as well.
Good time of year for them to ask.
It doesn't.
Good point.
The truck that's kind of contemplated here would be multi-purpose as well, so it would be,
The belly, front, and
yeah,
sanding.
have those and then also have the big capability of putting different components on the back, like the water tank in the summertime or whatever.
Like a multi-lift.
Multi-lift, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes?
yes.
Yeah.
Snowplow's in. Engo Zamboni battery replacement. I don't think there's much of a choice there outside of
No.
purchasing a new Zamboni. 32K. That thing shut off. In the middle of the game. Between periods.
Oh, God.
Died. And it's just like, I just crawled
You
under.
gotta push.
I just crawled under the bench. You got it going again though. You don't restart it, you reboot that thing. Pretty funny. So is that in?
Yeah.
Battery for
Just kick it.
Just kick it, yeah, 32K. Rotary windmills, now this is a project that we've been working on for a number of years along with Rotary. Rotary has purchased all the windmills. At the time, we kind of committed that we would take care of some landscaping requirements and lighting and stuff. That's where we're at with this?
Yeah, Darlene's done a fantastic design that kind of aligns with the theme of each different windmill, so it'd be a total redesign of that landscaping within the, within that traffic circle, so it's a fantastic design that kind of relates to the themes of each windmill. So there's 4 windmills, they're in storage right now in our yard. So we have them ready to go, and so we want to get 1 year of planting underway this year, because then the windmills get installed in 2027.
Okay. And I think it's a fantastic partnership with the work that Rotary does in this town too, and it's for what they're putting into it.
We are a bit concerned, we are a bit concerned about security, because there are valuable components on these windmills. So but there's nothing, you can't stop just because you're worried about it.
Thank you.
So,
Make sure the neighboring places have doorbell cameras.
What kind of plantings are we doing?
so it's basically, taking what's there right now, which is just a hodgepodge of stuff, and then theming all the plantings around the different themes for the windmills. So there's the landscape plans in your package.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there's, one that's focused on First Nations, native plants and species, and then additional plants. There's another that's, kind of focused on, I can't remember the other theme of it, just native plant species for Alberta. There's lots of bulbs being planted so that there's color throughout the year, and there's something happening from spring right through to fall. Plus, there's uplighting, and she's incorporated solar lighting within that framework as well.
No, it's powered lighting.
She couldn't, I don't think she's been able to find the power in there.
No, she's got it in
Oh,
here.
does she?
It's in the list, yeah, it says lighting wired in, not included in install 6500.
Because in her material list, one that she provided me was solar lighting, so, but that's good. If it's powered, that gives much more certainty from that perspective for security purposes. And that also includes the foundations for each individual windmill. So pouring the foundation so that they're secure.
Island.
Yeah, right, and so.
And the windmills are designed with vandalism in mind. They're tall, you have to work at it, and you have to be pretty committed to making something happen, but some people are committed to making something happen. So, but like you say, you can't stop just because you're worried about that.
Like, and this encompasses the entire traffic circle. Could there be a scaled back version, or is it?
Hard, because we have to get in there and dig foundations, but, you know, we could always go back and ask Darlene to phase it over time, and go from there, but.
Why would we scale it back, right? Because we in this town have been notorious for starting projects and maybe not fully implementing based on what the design was. Let's just get her done, right? Like, we're not very good at that.
And because this is a public art project, it is coming from film revenue.
From where, sorry?
Film revenue.
So the 50's actually not a tax type one, it is?
Theoretically, yeah.
Theoretically.
I'll use that word.
That's a safe.
So,
Call it a tax funded garden.
Okay.
I think just, if we can find the money elsewhere, that's fantastic. But
how does, we assess what it does to visibility?
Certainly from a safety, these windmills are going to be set back off the road, doesn't impact the visibility going around the traffic circle. The landscape's going to be kind of much different scale than what's there right now. And it's going to be graded up so that the taller stuff is closer to the center. We don't think there's any visibility issues or safety concerns.
And the windmills themselves were designed specifically with that in mind, so the actual, there's the post and the actual windmill, and it's high enough that it does not affect.
Above the line of sight?
Yeah.
You got it.
And right now, that growth is probably 7 feet tall that you can't see through anything.
You can't see.
I go by that
You can't
road
see
all the
through.
time, you cannot see around that,
No,
the way it is.
you and your smart car, I can't see you on the other side.
Yeah, that one ton's a
Your
pretty smart
Prius.
car.
Right. Okay, so windmills is in?
Yeah.
Jamie, this is one that you commit to and you get it in, do it right the first time. Water treatment, dewatering. It's not too much of an option, is it, Riley? It's just.
We
Is this-
flooded twice, I guess, last year?
Yeah.
Or- Yes.
Yeah.
And through that, one of the learnings was, that basement doesn't drain on its own. So both times we had fire come in with their fire truck and pump it out. Ideally, we would have a system internally that would do that for us, or with minimal effort, so we can get it dewatered a little quicker. Hopefully, we never have a need for this system, but given the number of times, I guess flooded 3 times since I've been here, So it would be every time we wish we had something. So it's kind of a, what's your risk tolerance on something like this, so.
This
the
is
recommendation
utility
is to do
based,
it.
like
Yeah.
funding,
Yeah.
so then there's no question. We need to protect our water, for me anyways.
Yep,
I agree.
good. Good. 112th Street assessment, I call it. I'm okay with this, to figure out what to do here. You can go out and you can drive that thing, I've heard numerous comments as to how bad it is, where it's absolutely horrible and it's tearing out my 1-ton truck. Or it's, you know, what's the problem? Because there's a few potholes and stuff out there. And it's a little bit rough in a couple areas. So with the recent consultant's design where that road now stays, when it gets developed, then there will be a secondary road that goes in behind it, splits those properties. So with this one staying, I'm okay with this ask to get it figured out. This one, like Riley says, it gets busier and busier and busier. It's the easy way out of, as the Hamptons builds out. And, it's the easy way out. We gotta figure something out. I'm not there that we go back to gravel. I'm not there that we go full pavement. There are options in between.
But this is just the design, correct?
But this is just the design, so that's why I wanna see where, we can figure out what to do. Because once you hit where Farm Boy is, it's pavement, and it doesn't need to be touched, it's everything back to the.
Yeah, it's the south of Farm Boy, it's that one stretch, that straight stretch is where it is, and mostly on the very south end of it is the worst.
You got it.
That one, you pretty much have gotta go into the northbound lane to get through there without knocking your teeth out.
Yeah, or with your smart car.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So you saying for this 100K, you wanna see a couple different design possibilities? 'Cause you
Just the
said-
topping.
No, you said no gravel, maybe asphalt, but something in between too, so for 100K, what do we get?
Only a design.
Yeah,
Well,
one
geotech.
design?
Oh, I see what you're asking.
Geotech.
Geotech, we can give a couple of designs.
Geotech has to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can give a couple of designs. I mean, all we're looking at different structures, is there curbs or not, that kind of thing, we can definitely give options.
After the study.
Curbs, Riley? Want me to bring that up? New council?
We can talk about it.
Brand new council.
We can talk about
We can talk about curbs on fit.
It was a great idea.
Oh, buddy, I love it. So, 112th assessment,
Yes.
geotech, that's in? Okay.
Do you just want limited geotech only?
No. Okay, well, we need geotech and a couple options.
Okay.
As to what capital costs of replacement is. We've been spitballing numbers around there a few years, let's get it where it is. Public Works design.
Pre-design. What's a pre-design?
So that's taking a look at the site, kind of developing a conceptual layout of where buildings would go, where salt storage would go, where equipment storage facilities would go, and just kind of laying that out, and then kind of contemplating what the square footage of the buildings were so that we can move into pre-design of the buildings itself, and whether or not we can phase it, or is it one big building, or is it multiple buildings like a campus approach.
It's gonna cost 200,000.
Well, 60K for the pre-design of the site layout and the concept, and then the detailed design, when you get into the actual buildings, then we'll start.
And that's what the 200 is talking about.
Yeah.
And that also includes the study with the design, because possibly the roadway cutting that in half.
We're looking, certainly having conversations with planning about the location of that roadway, whether, and hearing what the public had to say about it too, whether that's cutting it in half or is it moving it further to the east.
Further either way.
Yeah.
We bought that piece of property because it was an opportunity and we were stuck with finding other pieces of land that would possibly work, so we secured the property. We don't know that it's going to be the ideal solution though.
Right.
And in order to do that, you gotta spend some money to get it. It's just.
Yeah,
part of
on the
game,
site
right?
plan,
Yeah,
I
it was certainly the largest piece that was readily available of all the ones that we did when we did a search trying to locate a parcel. It was the other piece that was readily available, which was double the price for about 7 acres less, was the Canada Lands that was gonna be that's right across from the RV shop. There's a big pie piece, but it was a bad shape, and also at some point in time, there's gonna be another road that goes through there that connects through the middle of those properties, so you're gonna lose even more land from that one, with that perspective. So this one was a great opportunity when it was offered to us. We jumped all over it.
Good?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good with your rationale that this is going to kind of allow, because to me, without the ASP and all that, it just seems, is that the best place to plunk it? So
Well, and
I appreciate
if
that.
this doesn't work, let's unload it and go find
Yeah.
one that does, right?
Well, we'll lag a bit too, like we will want the ASP far enough ahead that
Okay.
this makes sense. So we will wait until they have a framework largely in place before we start on this work. So
Appreciate that,
they will
Tyler.
definitely build on that.
Yeah, because where that roadway goes affects that whole thing.
Correct.
Thanks.
So then is this year the time to do this?
I think so, with the ASP going on and everything.
We're also
really
going to see a
do.
lot of pressures on the other site. So for example, Chris mentioned Parks actually works out of the site during the summer. And that's because we don't have room at the other site. The roof is already end of life at the current site.
At what site? At the maintenance building?
Yeah, so the roof is basically lifed out. We're already patching it, having conversations around, well, do we have to replace it? What does it look like? How can we not spend that money? We're tight on space. We've already added additional washrooms because of our staff complement there in terms of the temporary structure out back. The sprung is rough as well, as we've discussed already with the doors. We have pressures to do a proper salt storage shed, which we don't have space on the existing site. So there's a lot of pressures on that existing site. So we're gonna have to look at something new at some point. And with having this pre-work done, then we can start looking at, does it fit on the new site? Can we do the salt shed, for example, ahead of the other? Can we put some equipment storage out there? Can we have aggregate storage down south of town? Can we move that all onto a single site? There's a lot of inefficiencies with how we are managing things right now. So yes, the sooner the better because of incoming costs and pressure on the existing site.
Does that answer your question, Jenny?
Yep.
Just more for the public, quick, the existing site that we have, maintenance is how many acres versus the place that we have?
So the existing site is about 5 acres, and the one that's out there right now is currently 16 and change.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're good. Audio in council. Sorry, I'm not seeing it as a real critical need.
What happens if the MD goes ahead and does it without us?
Great.
It is awful in there. But
Is it awful, or is it just not great? Could be better, absolutely, won't disagree, but is it awful to the point where we can't conduct meetings?
I think you can conduct meeting, I just think it's
People
hard
in the
for
gallery cannot hear,
audience to hear.
unless you're in the front row, you're in the dark.
How does it affect are you like our broadcasting, and how does it affect hearing assisted people?
We have perfect audio for YouTube. Hearing assist, I don't really know, but it works, the hearing assist works just fine for me.
Yeah.
The older modules need their batteries replaced at minimum for that to continue to work. However, the hearing assist system that's built into the audio visual rack is also controlled by the streamer. So when we go into like an in-camera session, it cuts the mics off. But there's so much, because there's so many committees and the two separate councils that use it, it's stressful for us just simply because we never know what we're gonna walk into.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the hearing assist in there works via an app that you have on your cell phone, and then you need to have like earbuds, or you could play it, but that would be really distracting.
Right.
In the council. It does work though.
Okay.
And you mentioned with the feedback from the mics, the biggest issue being the mics in the chamber as well?
Yeah, if you go past, if you take the master volume past 67%, you start to get really bad feedback, and even around 70, 72, it's pretty awful.
And as soon as there's two mics on, they start to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the mayor is pretty good with cutting off extra mics, and we're sitting there constantly turning mics off to ensure that, you know, like there's no feedback going on there. You know, so it make things a little bit easier from a production standpoint, but is it really necessary? Probably not. The thing that's I don't really understand is we partnered with Foothills County to begin with in those chambers, and they use almost none of the equipment in there. As a matter of fact, they always turn off hearing assist because they don't stream through the system and use the actual built-in controls. And if they don't turn the hearing assist off, people can connect to it and listen to their in-camera sessions. So it's problematic, but
Why are there two different systems up there?
there aren't.
Why, well,
Foothills County basically does what I'm doing right now for their YouTube streams.
I'm just talking for people in the room.
Oh.
Because I've been to county meetings and they're clear as a bell, sitting in the back row. Absolutely, yeah.
I find
Clear
that
as a bell.
I find that they're clear as a bell sitting in the back row when I sit in there.
For our meetings.
For our meetings. So I'm uncertain like what to tell you.
There's a massive
Because they use the
difference.
exact same sound system, counselor, that we do.
Then why does everybody sit in the back row if they can't hear?
There's a massive difference when you're sitting there. They sit in the back row because they don't want to call one, but.
Would it be how they're using the feed?
Okay, let's get rolling again. Okay, here's the deal on the sound. Are you back? Unmuted?
You're now unmuted.
Okay, so here's the deal on the sound system. So the $100,000 is because Foothills County wants to do a whole revamp of like a lot more than what I think is absolutely necessary and what Ken thinks is necessary. I think we focus on what our contribution could be to the project being upgraded microphones and upgraded speakers to allow better hearing up there. And Ken said the microphones are 25 years old, and regardless of whether we use them, that everybody uses them properly, if there's more than one mic on, they're gonna feed back from each other. They just get going. If we get the noise canceling ones and da-da-da-da-da. So what Kent's telling me is that ask, our portion of it would be about 21.
That's correct.
About half.
Why don't we actually have a conversation, leave this as a place marker of 50,000, and then actually have everybody communicate with each other and come up with a plan?
I said we park it at 25.
How'd you come up with 25?
Because he says 21 would be our half of
The
microphone
and
replacement, the speaker
But we
replacement.
still haven't had a discussion with them.
What discussion is there to have? We'd say this is what our contribution is, whatever else you want to do, knock your socks off.
in the options, the recommended one
It's
is
3.
and organize a meeting of the primary stakeholders from both municipalities to consider the ongoing issues, because it sounds like each municipality has different issues.
That's an IMC meeting.
It's transparency too. I don't know what they want. I wanna hear what they want.
Okay, that's fair. Agree, James is talking is fair. Park it?
Yeah.
We're just gonna park it.
We're not gonna put any money in for it?
No.
But you're gonna organize a meeting, correct?
We can always, like, if it's really critical, we can always come back. Doesn't have to be
Oh,
done
no.
right now. We can always come
I
back
was
and
just
make an
asking.
adjustment. Okay, so park it for now.
As long as we're committing.
Fire computer refresh.
No, that's gone. That's out.
Why is that out? That's the most critical aspect.
The what?
The council computer refresh was
Council
removed.
refreshes.
Oh, the vehicle, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Use your
That's
microphone
pretty
then.
critical. Ken?
It's incredibly critical. We can't, it's gonna be a huge risk factor for us moving forward if we don't.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
that one's in. The garbage trucks. Now that one's parked, right? Until we figure out whether we're contracting it out or it's $1 million if we're continuing to do it ourselves. So that one's still parked for a bit. Fire rescue tools.
But does that mean it's, goes in as part of the budget discussions, or we're leaving it out?
We can always amend the capital plan at a later date, once we get the answers from the RFP.
Okay.
So we can always come back with a motion simply from council to add it into the capital plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Fire rescue tools.
Necessary.
Always critical, always necessary.
They're finding the existing tools that is on that unit just not strong enough to cut through the 8 pillars on the newer vehicles now, so they're near the end of their life and they're not as strong as some of the new designs of vehicles are.
They were asking for a new excavation tool when I was on one of my previous terms, and we said no. So,
Yeah, good.
Do they use it a lot?
Yeah, more than you wanna know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
No, I
that.
can imagine.
Yeah. Okay, so fire's in. Wastewater treatment design, the 200.
Sorry, I really have an issue with the whole
Okay, so the
project.
200,000. Rewind, Riley, and give me the full spiel on what this gives us.
10% of the expected construction cost, which is the 30 million.
This is addition to what's already been earmarked for this purpose.
Council has approved buckets over the years that have been carried forward. Andrea will be updating you completely on Monday, week today, to that process, but there was, so environment years and years ago said, thou shalt upgrade your plant.
Yeah.
We went back to them and said, that's the point of Frank Lake, we don't need to upgrade. So we argued back and forth about that for a number of years. And it's gotten to the point where we now have to do an upgrade, it's written into our approvals. We started that process. We were looking at a pilot with unproven technology. As we moved through that process, others were further ahead than us, so it became to a point where we thought the technology was applicable to our climate and regulatory environment. So we moved from a pilot to a full design. Had started the approval process with environment in terms of switching that over. Then the regional conversation came up. So we parked that, pursued the regional, and we're still working through the feasibility on the regional before we revisit any design work on the plant itself. That will determine the scope of the design. And so until we have some certainty and some direction from council, I can't tell you what we're designing yet, only that it's going to be around $3 million to design. To Michael's earlier point, there would need to be a conversation with the county in terms of, if we do partner with them, what's their contribution? Or is this through a recovery, or how does that work? But we're just not there yet. Council could, I'm going to give you an option that I don't think is on there. Council could approve this at a later date when we come forth with the recommendation.
So
We
keep it as a
do-
placeholder.
We do, like I said, we do have budget right now that we can use. This isn't critical to moving the process forward. Detailed design is expensive and we've never gotten this far. We're going to have to, we're just not there yet. So council could park this, knowing that it's going to come at a future conversation once we've decided on the scope of the facility, either regional or not. And then we could tackle it at that point. There is also another question we are working through with regards to procurement. The original contract had contemplated extensions, kind of in a phased approach, should the town want to retain the existing engineer. It is really hard to switch engineers between engineering and design. Construction. So you have one doing design, you have one doing construction. The one who's doing construction now doesn't want to sign off on the one who did design. So it's really hard to switch engineers in that process. We typically build our contracts, so we're not obligated to use the same engineer for construction. There's an opt-out at that point in case construction doesn't move forward, or we're not happy with the performance of the engineer. The challenge with this one is that the scope has changed so dramatically, it may not be appropriate to take that option with our current engineer. We're happy with the current engineer, but because the scope has changed so much, it may not be appropriate from a procurement perspective to continue on that journey. The reason I bring that up is because this contract would be large enough that council would have to authorize its award, at which point you could do the budget amendment at that point if additional funds were required. So there's a couple steps here where council could address the budget amendment. And it doesn't need to be right now. Just be aware that it's coming. Does that make sense? Sorry, that was a lot of information, and
why would we continue on further down the road on design prior to this feasibility study being done with Foothills?
We're not, but we know we have to do design in 26 to meet Alberta Environment's deadline. If we're not doing design by the end of this year, we won't meet Alberta Environment's deadline.
And then what happens?
Yeah.
What's the consequence of that?
You get a phone call.
Yeah.
Well, environment makes it a lot more scary to administration.
Yeah.
Administration, when environment talks to administration, they like to show up with guns and preach requirements with compliance. And so we get a very scary face from environment. Should council desire to take other avenues and pursue other individuals, they have, and successfully delayed this schedule. Staff aren't in a position to do that. So it would definitely have to be a consensus.
Can we not, at this point, ask for an extension and show them all the stuff we've been doing individually and collaboratively with Foothills and say, like, we appreciate this is the timeline, but this is the process.
Environment actually has been very free or permissive with the extensions with the regional conversation. They are very much of the opinion they want a regional solution from us in the county. And so they have given us extensions based on completing the regional study. So as long as we're still in that path and we're still making progress, they have been very accommodating for our schedule.
And I can talk to Roger, and I'm not worried about it for a second. His concern is always, are you working toward it? Like Riley says, as long as we're with this feasibility thing that we just don't know exactly where we're at yet, council's not comfortable with doing a design until we know if we're partnering up with Foothills and what that.
No, and we wouldn't. I mean, we wouldn't do the design without council's direction.
No, I
There's too
understand
much
that.
there
Yeah.
up in the air at this point.
And let's be clear too, it's, from our perspective, the sewer treatment plant is working the way it's supposed to be working, and there's no real urgency.
Correct.
The urgency is coming from the province to meet a standard that they're applying to our treatment plant as it impacts Frank Lake and phosphorus. So that's the urgency. So our sewer treatment plant is meeting the service delivery requirements that our residents require and demand. And so from our perspective, that's not the urgency is coming from someone else.
I've stolen Andrea's thunder. This was her Monday presentation.
That's cool. Okay, so park. Okay. Sport field upgrades? Yes?
Priority,
Yes.
strategic priority.
Transportation master plan. Didn't we just do one of these not too long ago?
No, we did water and sewer.
No, but
We did a transportation.
High country corridor.
No,
No.
we did one that
No, we
had
did one.
bikes and.
It's been a long time.
Active transportation.
Active
We did active transportation.
Active
So
transportation.
we have not done a transportation master plan for a very long time. I could get you the date, but it's been even the last typical.
Give me an approximate year.
2015.
Not long enough. There hasn't been enough changes for the.
So we've had new NSPs, new development come in. This is also the foundation for your offsite levies. So not only does it help engineering with planning capital, it also helps develop and update the offsite levies. Offsite legislation has changed. We are required to be a lot more precise with our numbers, which the current plan does not offer. And so this is an important step to updating offsite levies. Our offsite levies are dated and do need an update. And that's part of making sure we're charging the right rates to developers for those costs.
For $75,000 and having a plan that's 11 or 12 years old, I think we need to update it. We have to update it. Is this a plug-in into our town plan, kind of like a piece that comes off of that?
It could be an append, like all these plans become an appendix aspect of things, but, you know, Riley hits a key point, it's a foundation for offsite levies.
Yeah.
And making sure growth pays for growth.
Yeah. And we're at a point where we're poised to have some growth versus in 2015, it was probably more recovery than growth, right?
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
In.
I'd really like to see us cut down on this consultant business, but.
I agree. Tough to do with our current staff complement.
This is extremely specialized work. Like this is transportation modeling, density projections, and then translating that into growth numbers, water volumes at intersections. Like when you're looking at Synchro, the modeling software, it's very specialized. We would never be bringing something like that in-house from a software cost or staffing expertise.
Just my comment.
Yeah. It's a good comment, absolutely. Outdoor rink flood system. We just built that rink. We put $800,000 towards it. Let's just give it a year. Let's just see how things go. I like this system. I think you brought it to our attention, and I like the community involvement piece. I just think we need a year of, let's just see how this thing's gonna work.
I agree with you. On that note, I think one of the things that we need to you had highlighted a comment about engaging the community and helping operate it and stuff, and I think that's one of the things that we need to
Still do.
work on to, from a, I don't know, maybe it's not a policy type level, is like how to, when we were dealing with the pump track, there was a lot of things that we needed to try and figure out, and then there's all these different groups that wanna come and help, but we don't have necessarily policy to back it up, so it allows them to do all of the things that, and I think that is a piece, because if we do that and we just let them, you know, the public loose or however it works, to start flooding it and maintain it the way they want, well, we actually have to have some agreements and some policies and all this kind of stuff put in place. I think we need to strengthen those. Yeah.
Well, in this particular case, I don't think there is a group yet.
There's not.
And that's what we could try to foster, facilitate prior to going to a flooding system.
Yeah.
Because putting a flooding system in and then just giving somebody the keys to it
Yeah.
isn't gonna go well, in my opinion. So-
I think it would be good too for us to understand how they actually work. And I'm just gonna say, I installed the first one in Calgary and it's still in use. And they're pretty cool because they're not just for rink waters. Like if we put it beside the gardens, it's a way that the gardeners can actually utilize the water as well.
Okay.
It's not just a one season use.
Okay. Okay, we'll park that one for future discussion. I'm gonna not park it, but I'm gonna just jump over top of High Country Drive for a second. And let's get to library accessibility upgrades. This one's been going on and on and on, and everybody knows the situation at the library, you know how it's designed. For me, it's time to deal with this. And everybody knows how much I hate angle parking, and that one's the worst, trying to back up.
It's still gonna be angled though.
It's still gonna be angled, but it's gonna be deeper, so you got a little bit more. Right now, as soon as you back out 6 inches, you're into traffic. You're into it. So, and vehicles are flying down first. Then you get past those apartments, it's Painter to 12. So I am totally okay, not just the parking issue, but with the lighting and everything else that's been requested for years and years and years. I think it's, at some point in time, you gotta bite the bullet and do it, and then I'm there.
Well, and it doesn't really look inviting at the moment. Like, I find it looks drab and uncared for.
Thank you.
Really scary at night.
Yeah.
One question I have, I agree with everything you said. It says how many existing parking stalls roughly do we have there?
Depends on people.
It says 17 here.
Yeah, I think if you, do the math, it's about 17, but yeah, it depends on how people walk or park.
I live in that neighborhood and I can honestly say more times than not that there is no parking. So in future, and this is just throwing it out there, is maybe we start thinking about putting parking across the street in our you know, the
Railway
space that we own, the railway lines, whatever that looks like, right?
The CPI.
Yeah, CPI.
A lot of times for meetings, we end up parking around on the avenue.
Right.
Because there's no parking.
And then there's no sidewalk to walk around.
It's tricky.
Right, you gotta go straight.
Yeah.
Back of the corner.
And
There's no sidewalk here. There is on this side.
And it's gotta bug the neighbors.
So,
She's talking this avenue, there's no
Well,
sidewalk.
Yeah, there's no sidewalk.
It's not the right words, but put off, there was a request for security cameras inside, and when we talked about that, we talked about this improvement, this being safety and security for patrons and staff. So, yeah, I'm all in on this, because when we did talk about the security cameras, we said we were bringing this forward, so I'd like to stay to that commitment as well, and go forward with this. It needs it for so many reasons, the safety and security and the aesthetic, as Jenny mentioned, and it'll be a great improvement for that facility.
The safety alone just on the roadway is, like you said, where you park, and you're parked in an ice flow or water when at this time of year, you're still stepping in and out of water or ice flow there.
yeah. So we're good on the library?
Yeah, I'm good.
Everybody's good? How you doing?
425 is for everybody.
Drum roll, please.
Mayor, if I may, we skipped one at the very beginning.
Oh, the new website. Okay, explain this to me, because we did this not, like, that website isn't
6 years
that
ago.
old, 6 years ago.
Fresh coffee, black coffee, well, is that even their name?
That was a website, that was,
No, it was the
It was
website.
a
6
full
or 6
website.
years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it full.
It's there.
It is generally like 4 to 5 years that we should be looking at it because technology changes. But the other piece is that it does make it more difficult with our current website is some of the integrations with our new software.
So that's the thing, like, are we just with, is this spiced coffee outfit not spiced, it's spiked?
I think it was
Spike.
Goat.
Yeah, well, it's go social or something.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
What happened to the coffee one too?
Okay,
Oh,
so that's the thing, like, are they still operating? They're not. Okay, so we're kind of screwed to keep up with technology because.
Well, we do have a web guy that we can
Sure, but
utilize.
the
It's
web
not super, it's not, the website is difficult
Yeah.
to add stuff to. Going to a new website would allow us to have a little, like, we need a technical expert to be able to navigate within our current website.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody, go on there and try to use the search function on that website, it'll make your head explode to try to figure out.
The other thing too, if I could add, is that our hope would also to be to have a more engagement platform as well as an add-on, and this current website does make it a little bit more
explain that to
challenging
me, engagement.
So-
Speakers and microphones.
No.
That's a good idea.
If you've ever gone into Okotoks website, for example, they have like an engagement website where you can actually gather feedback from the community for projects that are going on or for special things that are happening. So it also helps us engage with our public a little bit more to get feedback in a more electronic way. So instead of us sending out surveys, the platform would actually help us navigate that.
There are two different types of users of our website. There's the casual person who's just going on to see what's happening this week or next month, just general stuff. And then there's people who are really doing research, who really want to find out and go into detail.
Budgets, projects, all that.
Yes, and so those are the people that are having difficulty with our website right now. Find the people who want to find real information. So can the website as it currently stands be fixed in that regard, or you just start fresh?
It's a significant, honestly, for us to, like, we can do some tweaks.
I'm sorry.
And we can do some tweaks and we can certainly update some things on our current website, but that's a significant amount of work too, and we did do that a couple of years ago. It's not going to be, I mean, I would rather spend the time and energy for our staff in a new website than trying to continue to tweak and make this one work.
And if you take a look at recent websites for municipalities that have changed, they've gone to focusing on their core service, right? They've been focused on governing and they've focused on their utilities, so it made it easier for utilities to find information. So that's been the change. 5 years ago, there was hybridization of websites that kind of be as, you use the word branding and economic development and all that type of stuff. There's been a real push now for municipalities to just focus on their core services. And this is the information that's being built into it, and that's good. This website is going to be hard to be able to.
It already is.
So the 80K
Yeah, so the
seems really light for a full new website.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the 80K in the list is not the right number, it's actually 100,000 if you look at the briefing note. We did bump it up to reflect that.
Still seems light to me, but.
I gotta go way back to the beginning.
And that goes out to RFP, goes out to RFP, goes out to everybody, so anybody that's a local provider in High River, be aware that we are doing a new website. If you're interested, you can go on Alberta Purchasing Connections and start to bid on and submit your proposals and everything. So I do not want this one to come back with our local providers going, why didn't you use us? Why didn't you ask us? Everything we do in this town has to go through APC. That's just the way it is. If you want in on the game, that's where you go. We do not go out just to our friend in High River to design us a municipal website, period. So everybody's welcome to be part of it.
And can I just add one thing too for council to know? The web designer won't they'll take the information we provide them from all our subject matter experts. So all the data that you see, we still have to provide. They'll just create the page and how to plug it in. So there's still a workload on our staff side. That was very heavy last time we did this. Some updated their information, some just said it's fine the way it is, and never went back and looked at it. I think part of this is, the whole exercise is our subject matter experts have to take a look at the data and revise it dramatically.
And I think that it'll be, like, the focus, at least, Karen and I have talked about is that we've spent a lot of time internally, and this time we really need to look at what makes the most sense. Like, how do the residents search for information? What makes the most sense for them to find it versus what is easy for us internally?
Okay, so we good? It's 100.
Yeah.
We're good. It's a must-have for business or, I guess just.
I'm in if there's a bigger report of concern button.
When we move, yeah, it'll be a dashboard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here we go, High Country Drive intersection, 365.
What's in that cup?
I'm out.
I
The number's too high for, I can't believe that put some bump outs in at
think,
365,000. I know there's stormwater issues and stuff, but I like the design. I think that's the right design. If we're ever going to do it, that's the design. It's bump outs, four-way stops, blah, blah, blah. This $365,000 to do that is just not there for me. When we've got, in my mind, much higher priorities to focus our funding on right now.
So then okay, I wanna know what happens to that intersection? It's been there for 2 years, what happens to it?
You pull all the temporary stuff out. Like if it goes this way, all the temporary comes out, goes back to two-way, and I think if we're gonna do something, you put flashers in like we have on 5th and 3rd. And I know it's been a lot of convoluted stuff, but we're down to here, and I'm looking at it as to how extremely important is that? And
Might be an aggravating
the $365,000 number just.
What number do you think it should be at? Let's say just.
Well, the 365 actually takes it up over 700,000.
I'm not disagreeing with that, I'm just talking about like.
Yeah,
But
and that is.
that's false too, though.
Yeah.
The 700 grand,
Isn't just.
that number that was thrown out in the newspaper,
Studies.
that also takes a whole corridor study into play too.
Yeah.
That's not just this intersection, that's a whole study.
And those
that
bump outs are
benefits.
reusable in the rest of town. It's not
Exactly,
just
so
for
that
them.
was 120
Yeah.
grand
Yeah.
that comes with it, I could still go into that 700, which blah, blah, blah. But the 365, and it's just not there. I like the design, I like blah, blah, blah. For what we have, in my mind, that are critical needs that we've just gone through, I don't see this one being one.
Yeah, and we can't, I fully agree with that statement. Like in the scheme of all of this, there's a lot of things that need to be done. But I can't see that sitting there for another year. Like, if something has to be decided, if those get pulled out, they get pulled out. But they're not sitting there for another year and listening to the community complain about it.
We can make a decision
Today?
today. And pull it all up.
2,000.
Today.
It'd be 20,
People
you
would,
said 22,000?
22,705.
About, yeah, say, even if you said 30, just to take,
Oh, no.
just, or 20,000 even,
Demolition
to
of
clean
the
it up,
space.
put the lights.
To get rid of
Like, it does, we didn't have a thing with lights, but I agree with what Craig said, just to remove it, the stop signs with the pedestrian crossing, do we need to have a budget number on that? Because I'm agreeing with not that that's too much.
I just think we shouldn't be throwing good money after bad. We've made an effort. The community doesn't want it.
Well, I
If
disagree
we're
with
looking
that.
at, if we're looking at safety, if safety is why we're doing this, then why don't we have crosswalks painted on First and Center? It's a huge safety issue. We're not, there's lots of safety issues.
You can chase intersections all day
You bet.
long.
There's lots of.
4,800 of them in town, it's not just this one department.
So,
But this one is unique in the fact that we have two different users. It's come to us because there's concern, so I think doing nothing is irresponsible. I mean, I'm all on board with the flashers, that's what I presented, that's what I proposed when we had it at the council table, so.
Like, there's benefits to what we've done. Like,
100%
combine
there
those two,
is.
We've
Yeah.
got those crosswalks lined up and everything,
Yeah.
that alone makes it safer and more, understood. Flashers, putting the flashers up, you know, and my hesitancy on the flashers has always been, will the golfers in their carts use them, blah, blah, blah. That's on them. If you choose not to use it and stick the nose of your golf cart out there, well, you know.
No different than if you walked across without
Thank you.
hitting the
Yeah.
mast.
You got it, right? So, you know, I see people coming to work in front of Spitzy's school. There's parents and their children that will not hit the flasher. Like, just,
Or not cross at the crosswalk.
or not
Well,
cross the junction.
It doesn't
So-
answer
so
some other
it does-
questions, like speed and.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You're right, Jenny, it absolutely doesn't, and yeah, I still have concerns with the intersection and everything else, but is it just, you know, am I there with $365,000 to do that? I'm just, it's not. What's my number? Like 150, something like that, to do that kind of work, but if we gotta start digging up storms and everything else.
Well, so that's where I was why I was bringing that up is this storm, and I'm just making a guess, is because a lot of the storms are right on the corners? Is why you gotta
Well, your gutter pan goes around your corners and your stormwater will follow that.
I've seen many times where people have put in spots where they leave the gutters where they are and just have rolled curbs to make an island if we need to do that, right? And so I'm just looking at this as the utilities, other than maybe some lights and stuff like this, you could take and it's just roadway structures and sidewalks and pathways, 124, pavement markings 15, all of a sudden we take out the utility part of it, right? Or knock it down.
Oh, it was
I don't
suggested there's $700 for paint.
Okay,
That's from an authority.
Chris is just writing down. You love that crap, don't you? No, I shouldn't call it crap.
It works.
Chris loves a raised crosswalk.
Is that what he wrote down?
That's what he wrote down, raised crosswalk.
like a big speed bump.
Big speed bump that you could put there, where the golf carts cross and where the pedestrians go. You could do a raised crosswalk there with lights.
A couple of things it does is it raises the pedestrians up higher as well as the golf carts up higher, so that from a visibility perspective, you see them better. Aligns well with, and because it's going to be a little bit wider of a crosswalk because of the golf cart aspect of things, you can still accommodate the gutter pan aspect of things, and have those drop downs, and then you have a raised, you know, probably, I can't remember the dimension of the raised crosswalk that's painted, Riley, was it 11?
Riley's not even in the room right now. He's just like, he's left.
It was 5.5, I think it was 5.5 meters, to accommodate the two uses, so you'd have that as well as a properly sloped from that perspective. So, you know, that's
I
certainly an
can read
option.
you like a book, it's like, you
They were.
No, I know it works, but that particular, you take out the stop signs, and people going west down High Country Drive are gonna hit that raised crosswalk and end up in, I don't know, like, on Vic Horner's front porch. And Vic's in Mexico, so nobody's there to clean it up, so that's what's gonna happen. Like, cause people cut that corner going west.
Right back to you.
Like, people were right up on the sidewalk. I drive it every day, I've seen it every day. I don't even wanna go down the path of.
So no raised crosswalk?
Who drives and how, but it's, like, if we do that, something's gonna happen bad. I just see it.
They'll smoke it. There's no question.
I just think based on the High Country corridor, those raised sidewalks have a much more, important purpose further down High Country Drive versus that intersection. I just think that one is, yeah, I just feel there's more important, and then you get too many of those raised, then you're gonna have a lot of fun, the high school kids, but, I just.
Not only that, just even road clearing and everything else is.
Big blue bus. I think we need to do something on the intersection though,
We need to tidy it up and get rid of the blocks and get back to normal.
Well, there was a reason why we started this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Put some, well, not a great reason.
Oh, absolutely.
When I'm looking through the stuff, not enough of a reason to justify all
But
the money.
what's not enough of a reason, you know, almost getting hit by a vehicle coming down the road, or kids coming off a bus, or 100K down the road? Those are all reasons that you need to do something.
I didn't see any of that, maybe the speed sometimes, but you get that all over town.
Okay, let's,
What do you mean by see any of it?
but here,
Evidence of it.
guys, we're talking about, I know that, Michael, but we're talking about deciding financially, not whether we started this for the right reasons or not.
Sure.
We're where we are today, period.
Yeah.
We can battle it out for 3 hours as to whether we should have started it or what we should have
I'm not talking
done in
about starting it,
between.
but it's what we're gonna do now, considering why we implemented this in the first place. So there is some conversation around it.
Yeah.
And saying that there hasn't been an accident is not a reason not to do it. For any resident will come to me and say, what's the proof? Who got hit, who got killed, I don't want it after the fact. God forbid I sit in this seat and somebody dies at an intersection and we debated it and didn't do something about it. That's gonna hurt like hell. So when somebody comes to me and says, what's your proof? Who got hurt there? I don't care if anybody got hurt there or not. We've got a concern right now that we're trying to deliberate and work through. And sorry, I'm not, my tone isn't directed at you. There's some other people that I'm directing it at, and I hope they're listening. So when you say that nobody's been hurt, that's not the impetus for change. Hopefully we're smart enough as a community that we make changes for safety and security before something horrible happens. And that's part of what this is. So backpedaling and going to the mayor's point, 365 is a lot of money. I would like 365 to do a whole bunch of intersections down High Country Drive based on the corridor study and safety and security that goes down past the high school. But it's a lot of money for one thing, and I don't see it, but there still needs to be something. I appreciate your raised sidewalk, something there that draws people's attention to it, because I think High Country Drive, although there was never an accident, I'm a little bit comfortable in driving past.
I don't need a death toll.
Yeah.
I don't need it's a convoluted intersection. I don't care who you are. Like Kathy said, you got 2 users, you got golf carts going on, there's sight lines that are blocked and everything else. It's not, I'm not gonna say that we shouldn't have even started this. There's absolutely a no. I don't need a spreadsheet that shows I drive it, we live it, we golf there, we cross it, we walk it, blah, blah, blah. It's a convoluted thing. I'm totally okay with everything that's been done in the past. Yes, we do need to do something. We have done something with combining the 2 crosswalks and adjusting the crossings. I think if we put flashers on it right now, bring that budget to us for Wednesday, bring that number to us.
For Wednesday?
Well, I think you'd have already given it to us, didn't they?
No, we just put numbers together.
Oh, okay. Well,
we can give you a ballpark.
Give us a ballpark what we need to do, Riley. And
With what, four-way stop and the?
No.
Just the two-way?
Just the two-way, we're going back, and
Two-way
the
and then
bump up, the
flashers on
temporary
each and
stuff will stay there till Wednesday.
Yeah.
Let's get this finalized, and then when we pull the trigger on Wednesday, those things come out Wednesday afternoon.
And I think that plan does do something.
I don't know if I can turn around that quick.
That plan does do something. The lights do something, that there has
It
been.
does. You're absolutely right.
And it's an
Yeah,
improvement.
it does, there is an improvement, that's what I'm saying, there is an improvement there. We need to go 365, nah, I just, I'm not there. We've got better places to put that money right now, higher priorities for the 365,000. Where are we at? You don't have to agree, Jenny.
I mean, the number is huge, and like I said, I think there are more important things, for sure. But we didn't spend 2 years on something that we just willy-nilly just toss. So
And
that's my
I don't
concern.
care who it is out there that doesn't like the project and they're gonna try to beat us up in the High River Times and everything else, I hope you're listening. I don't appreciate it at all, especially coming from a former counselor, I'll throw that out there, that when we sit in these seats, we get put in positions where we have to make decisions. And they're not always smooth, they're not always the greatest thing that benefits every single human being in High River. That's a pipe dream that doesn't happen. Regardless, we are where we are today, I get it. The number's too big for me to move on, so that's where we're at. We're good?
Just a comment on timelines. The flashers will require ordering. That would be something we'd want in place before removing anything because of the four-way. And there is we do have to follow a process to remove a four-way stop because it can be a little hairy at times when drivers are used to that and then taking that away. It's easier to add than subtract. So I bring that up because it won't be an overnight change. We'll have to sequence this out a bit.
Correct, but as long as the flashers, I think we need them in for the start of golf season.
And can I
Yeah,
just,
we can do that.
I just wanted to also comment, I think this process thing, we might have to bring it back to regular council for a
Which is just
resolution.
fine.
So that's Monday,
That's fine.
but we can get numbers.
Yeah, we can get numbers for Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. We good?
I'm good.
Okay. So the 365 comes out, we're gonna put a number in there for you on Wednesday, Jordan, as to what the,
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll incorporate it in.
what the lights and whatever we need to do.
Sounds good.
All right?
Very good.
Where else are we at? That's the end of the in-out list, correct?
Yep.
We good for today?
Yeah, that's
You got what you need?
have what we need. Everybody, yes, no for everything. Thank you very much.
Good.
A lot of yeses.
Any questions from council to admin? Tony, did you want to say, we do have 5 minutes, do you want to say anything about sports fields? I know that's your,
So I'll go through it really quickly. So we only use one public space now, which is they call it the Charles Clark Field. The cost was $3.25 an hour, is now gone up to $20 an hour, so there's a difference of $150 a season for one team to $900. I just want to make sure that maintenance, that's a huge difference. That what are we paying for that extra $650 a season for? Second is we are putting money to HSA soccer field. Sorry, are you going to be in talks with any of the other schools for their gopher, especially MDC, for their gopher care as well?
No, I think
We're just focused on Highwood High for the ball field
Yeah,
and for the soccer field, NDC.
okay.
So those are the only two fields that council selected as the priority. The other two fields, when they were assessed, were too far gone. And there was really lack of support from the school districts for focusing that aspect of things too.
Because we use HSA as a practice field, we use NBC as a game field.
Okay, I'm just gonna hang on, Tony, we're in a capital budget discussion,
Yeah.
you're going into operations.
I know,
and
I'm
you
just-
guys, so that's a whole different thing that we'll work out with.
Yeah, it's it's something we can bring up maybe down the road.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you, that's all I
No
know.
worries whatsoever. Any other questions, council, to admin? No. Meeting adjourned at 11:58. Well done, folks.
Job.
Yeah.